It is terrific to have your company as per usual on a Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Welcome to the third last edition of Thursday Night Motorsport for Term 2 of 2024, and welcome for the second time this week to Canada for GSRC competition. Earlier in the week we went to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for some supercar action. That was frantic as all hell. Tonight, circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the Ile Notre Dame in Montreal, Canada, and Quebec. Of course, this weekend playing host to the real world Canadian Formula 1 Grand Prix. Tonight, playing host to Week 8. Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport. Night 4 of Week 8 of Term 2, 2024. Season 17 for the club. It's nice to have you along for the ride, wherever you're tuning in right around the world. 1:14 in the afternoon server time there. That'll update in just a few moments' time. 30 degrees the ambient, 54 on track. Stifling hot conditions for this third last round of Formula V. Races 22, 23 and 24 of the championship. 4.31 kilometres this circuit. We're on the full configuration, the only configuration. 22% humidity, clear conditions and bugger all wind to speak of. Now, let's have a look at the championship standings as we venture into this round. And at the moment, Rd-8 holds a very good advantage of 32 points over Sam Chapman, who's charging home hard. He's 1 point clear of Adam Lavis. That battle for second is tantalising. There's no doubt about that. Then you go back to Tony Baker, 316, 283 for Ryan Tate, Kevin Henderson, 274, and also Phil King, Joe Baldwin, Brendan Nealon, and Chris Noble making up the top 10. I'm happy to report that both Rd-8 and his sparring partner, his teammate in John Merritt, are on the grid tonight. That will be very nicely done to see them two in tandem once more. Chris Noble has taken pole position for this round of the championship, and he'll start alongside Sam Chapman on the opening row of the grid. Second row will be John Merritt and Sean McQuillan, who's been one of the vast improvers in the last couple of weeks, no doubt about that. Adam Lavis and Rd-8 from the third row, Adam Proctor, Nick Wood the fourth, Aaron Russell and Ryan Tate the fifth, Tony Baker, Fred Kahn the sixth, Lane Thoburn, Kevin Henderson the seventh, Jonathan Hooper from the eighth row alongside Pete Matson, Steve Murray, Aidan Schultz the ninth, Phil King, Phil Butler the 10th, and then of course Greg Heaney, Brendan Nealon, Michael Ladder, Mark Gomez, Brendan Whitaker's back in the server. Have a look at that. Kurt Nomenson and Sam Stride, of course, in race control. So we should have at most 26 starters here, and we're getting ready to rock and roll. Just updating everybody. The clock you saw there has jumped forward to 1:25 in the afternoon there in Montreal. Very warm track conditions, very warm ambient as well. A beautiful summer afternoon in Canada. Comments flowing in thick and fast, no doubt about that. Zach Caban alongside Daniel Correas. Welcome to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you on board. Updates throughout the night from the Adelaide-Richmond AFL match, and also the second instalment of Women's State of Origin for 2024. The girls, of course, got their series underway 3 weeks back. It's in favour of New South Wales at the moment, 1-0, but the men's in favour of Queensland after a rather interesting encounter at Accor Stadium last night. I can't say that that's why we weren't on air. It's just a delightful coincidence that we weren't on air on Origin night last night. We're ready to rock and roll nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen. Race 1, round 8, Spreyton side of Formula V, Thursday Night Motorsport, all from Montreal. Let's go! And I say that because round 8 of the Wins and Slicks Championship Super Formula Light is from this venue as well. And we should inform you as we see the top 6 hold swell. The run to turn 1. Adam Lavis. Adam Lavis. How many times do you see it? Normally in the second race, but tonight the first race, making a ride for his own back, dropping down outside the top 15, down to 20th position there, down 15 spots early on. As we ride on board with John Merritt, Chris Noble, Sam Chapman, John Merritt, Sean McQuillan, top 4 remain where they started. Glenn Sedderadell already starting his charge forward up into 5th, Adam Proctor, Nick Wood, Aaron Russell, Ryan Tate and Tony Baker the top 10 through the first couple of sectors. I speak too soon. There goes Adam Proctor. So the first sector of the lap has already claimed the 2 Adams. As they make their way down the back straight, John Merritt, have a look at this. Plenty of great slipstreaming, drafting opportunities in Canada. Merritt making the most of it early on. Up into 2nd position and Chapman slots back to 3rd. Remember, Merritt has a role to play here. So, I mean, it'll be a thorn in the... It'll be great for Merritt and Cito to get the band back together and put the teammates working together in some sort of motion here. But it will be to the detriment, potentially, of the likes of Sam Chapman and Adam Lavis, who are trying to chase down Glenn Sedderadell in the championship. Merritt has a role to play here as a teammate to Glenn Cito to keep the Pulse Tuning boys on top of the summit in Formula V. Down the back straight for the first time. They go left, they go right. Chris Noble gets swamped. Chapman on the outside, Merritt on the inside. Chapman goes long. To the wall of champions we go. Merritt and Noble lunge to the inside. And Chapman had to yield in the end there, and that's compromised his run up onto the main straight. 3 wide again back there. Sean McQuillan getting through on the inside. Glenn Cito going with him, and Chapman relegated. Trouble at the wall of champions. 1 car off the road. Think it might have been Pete Madsen. Sam Chapman, they're in 5th place as they get to turn 1 once more. So 23 starters in all of this, ladies and gentlemen. No Michael Ladder, no Mark Gomez, no Brendan Whitaker, no Sam Stride. We knew Sam Stride wouldn't be a starter. He's watching on from race control. This is what happened. Pete got some help, and he wasn't alone. There was another one already there. So 2 isolated incidents at the final corner. In Spreyton Cider Formula V. Kurt Nomenson on charge early on. We're getting updates on him, courtesy of our totem pole there. And courtesy of our comments, left and right of your screen. Patience at this point or it's over. Good insight from Chris Stark. Greg Heaney up 2 spots. Kurt Nomenson up 6, although we'll give him 4 because, as I say, they're only... Well, we'll give him 3, actually, because they're only 23 starters, not 26. So we'll give him 3, and that'll be that. Lane Thoburn already parked up and out of proceedings, so that's a blow to the stable there of the Alpha Racing team. We're at the forefront. It's Chris Noble holding sway. Wanted to point out, too, of course, we saw men's State of Origin last night. We've got women's State of Origin tonight. So us on one screen, State of Origin on the other, ladies and gentlemen. The only way to go when we're doubling up with the sporting events on a Thursday night. And for the first time this week, on broadcast at least, we're at the same venue for the entree, the dessert and the main course. Of course, normally this would be the entree slot. We consider it the main course on a Thursday night. Stick around for dessert, ladies and gentlemen. Super Formula Lights and an invert top 10 grid for race 2. Yes, we've got sprint racing across the board tonight. 5 races on the program. Plenty to be excited about. Plenty to whet the appetite. Now, around the final corner, it's not often you can get away with going too wide through the final corner, but somehow Glenn Cito and Sam Chapman did. Sean McQuillan has gapped that battle pack, and Chris Noble is under pressure from John Merritt. Noble up the outside, retains the lead. Aaron Russell, the fastest lap of the race, 2:03.192. Slotted it in behind Sam Chapman there, who's chasing Glenn Cito, and they're 1.1 away from Sean McQuillan, John Merritt, and Chris Noble. So, I'll tell you what, as I say good evening to Daniel Correa, so welcome to you, mate. We're 2 laps into what will be a 5-lap opening heat. I get the feeling as we ride on board with Nick Woody, let's just follow this through to the next corner, the next overtaking opportunity. Will he have a lunge down the inside or not? No is the answer. He'll tuck in behind and wait for the better slipstream opportunity on the back straight. Aidan Schultz, Philip Butler in trouble behind play. and already on pit road. So they're on the tow rope and night done, I would think, in terms of race one aspirations. Have a look at that battle pack. 4 deep. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And 1, 2, and 3 are a battle pack as well. But I feel, Daniel Criasar, that the horse is bolted with the next 4 catching the first 3.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Definitely, I agree with you there. You can see John Marin actually trying to fight Chris Noble down into the hairpin, the back end of the circuit, and he's going to get that done quite cleanly too. So good job there from John. Now he's going to have to hold it down the back straight. We know that the draft is very powerful in these Vs, and we saw it on each lap as they go down there, especially on that first one. Chris Noble got taken from the left and right by Sam and John. And so now it looks like Chris will do the same as he goes down towards the left. I feel as though, and the other thing too is, this is race 1 of 3. I always have to remind everybody that we get 3 goes at this, and they're already going this hard on the first one, and the second 2, the last 2 are longer still. So again, strap in, and then if you thought that wasn't enough, super formulas to come from this beautiful track as well after this is all written up. So they all go through there quite nicely.
This is one of my all-time favourite racetracks. And I love getting up early on a Monday morning to watch the Canadian Formula 1 Grand Prix. Can't do it this weekend because I'm taking a friend to the airport at the same time as the race is on. And when I get back, IndyCar will be on from Road America. So I'll be watching the Canadian Grand Prix on replay on Monday afternoon at some point. However, here's Glenn Cito all over the back of Sam Chapman at the moment. They're trying to go with the top 3. But what's interesting here is these guys have got some tactical decisions to make in terms of their gamesmanship and their racecraft, because it's a full invert for the second race. And I'm already skeptical as to how that might play out because we know that this circuit is not immune to causing the odd stack on and the odd big one. We'll wait and see what... It might be relatively clean tonight, but I'm predicting some sort of carnage in that second race. We'll wait and see. 7 minutes gone, so next time by, white flag will be in the air, ladies and gentlemen. 2:03.192 for Aaron Russell. The fastest lap of the race thus far. There he is, tucked into 6th spot, in behind Glenn Cito, who's got a championship to think about here. He hasn't got to contend, he hasn't got to really worry about or contend with Adam Lavis at the moment, but he has got Sam Chapman right there ahead of him. 9 races to go in the championship, 8 after this one. Every point, every moment, so critical, so vitally important at this point of the campaign.
Oh, he's tapped him,
tagged! Contact Aaron Russell on Glenn Cito, and Cito goes round. Saved it, but bogged it down. Cito drops to 7th, advantage Sam Chapman. Race control will probably have to have a look at that one. Have a look at this. I'm not saying that the invert doesn't matter, Starkey. I'm saying that, you know, those guys in 4th, they might just view that as a chance, a little bit of a leg up, the fact that they will have 3 less cars to overtake, or 4 less cars to overtake. So the work's not going to necessarily be any easier, but at least they will have a slightly better starting point than 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But so often, more often than not in these races, you'll see innocent bystanders caught up in garbage that has nothing to do with them. Yeah, Cito and Aaron again, yeah, exactly. Last week, of course, who will ever forget that? Those extraordinary scenes at Virginia International. That was some of the best Formula E racing I think we've ever seen here. Sean McQuillan in 3rd place at the moment. We're on the final lap. We've got Noble all over the back of Merritt. Merritt holding the flag high for pulse tuning at the moment as they head towards the back straight for the final time. We're right on board with Noble. Let's go. Noble happy to sit there for the moment. We know how this plays out, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be hoping to get the draft and get the run out of the hairpin onto the casino straight every day of the week. And you saw it in the Indy 500. You saw Pato Award and also... Oh, there's the defensive move from Merritt. Noble wants to send it round the outside. He's left the door open for Sean McQuillan. The run down the back straight for the final time. The casino straight here at the El Notre Dame. Let's wait and see. Noble to the outside, Merritt to the inside. What role will McQuillan play in this? The rest of them are too far back. Noble's got his nose in front by an inch or two at the moment. In fact, he's a wheel in front. Merritt goes to the inside. Here comes McQuillan straight through the middle. Sean McQuillan with the hero move. Have a look at that. Noble to the outside through the final corner, rides the curve, gets it onto the main straight nice and cleanly. Noble might have done enough to hold on here. Merritt pulls out alongside McQuillan. Here comes Aaron Russell and Sam Chapman as well, but Noble's got it. Noble will get it from McQuillan and Merritt. Chapman in for fourth and Russell fifth. Wood, Riddell, Proctor, Laverson take the top 10. Oh boy, well done Chris Noble. Knew that he could fend it from the outside, swing it through the final corner and hug the inside curb and maintain the momentum required to keep the chasing pack at bay. But what about that as well from Sean McQuillan? Displaced John Merritt. Merritt loses 2 spots in the final sector. Excellent stuff. No, not water tonight, Starkey. We're on the coffee first up tonight, trust me. Oh, jeez. Gotta love Formula V on a Thursday night. It does not get any better than that. Forget about those first 3, ladies and gentlemen. They won't play any part in this. I'm not sure whether Lane Thoburn stayed in the server or whether he will jump back out there and have it, give it another crack. Aiden Schultz, Philip Butler from row 3 could well be the front row of the grid here. Jonathan Hooper, Greg Heaney, Steve Murray, Fred Kahn, Pete Matson, Kurt Nomenson, then Tony Baker and Brendan Neal on the first 5 rows. Kevin Henderson and Phil King. Then Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis, Adam Proctor and Glenn Riddell. Nick Wood, Aaron Russell, then Sam Chapman, John Merritt, Sean McQuillan and Chris Noble will make up the now 22 car field to get us underway for race 2 of round 8 of Spreyton Cider Formula V on the platforms of the GSRC. What a night to be in the booth, ladies and gentlemen. We love Thursday nights here. We hope you do as well. It simply doesn't get much better. It used to be Formula V into the tin top Porsches and TCR at one point as well. It's now Formula V into wings and slicks, so it's an open wheel night. Race 2 of 5 underway. Beautiful start from Aiden Schultz. And look at the garbage in behind. This could get interesting. Chaos incoming. I agree with every single piece of that statement from Chris Stark. Let's keep the fingers crossed for a clean first sector. Through they go. Butler, Schultz, Heaney and Hooper lead us away. There's a little bit of moving and shaking in between. We need to get through that sequence of quarters. No, we get it. Phil King gone round the outside. Lane Thoburn's going to join this race from pit lane, so he's made a rod for his own back there by not joining the server off the start. Oh, carnage. Carnage. At turn 6. More carnage.
Oh, my God.
They are scattering everywhere. Carnage. With a capital C. We'll go back and have another look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Wood's been caught up in that. Aiden Schultz, Greg Heaney, Kevin Henderson. There are so many movers and shakers in this order right now. Philip Butler is the leader. Pete Matson's up to 2nd. Fred Kahn is 3rd. Then Steve Murray, Brendan Neal and Adam Proctor up to 6th. And then Glenn Cito, Adam Lavis, John Merritt and Sean McQuillan the top 10. And Noble trying to get in there as well with Chapman. Oh boy. What on earth has happened there? Jonathan Russell caught up. Aaron Russell, Nick Wood as well, Aiden Schultz, Greg Heaney. But on the tow rope, Kurt Nomenson, Tony Baker and Kevin Henderson. Oh dear. It was brewing. We always expect it in an invert top 10 situation, let alone a full invert here at the Ile Notre Dame. And it delivered. Carnage. No safety car. We race on. Battle pack still left, right and centre here. Into the back straight. Onto the main straight. Pete Matson's going to lead a lap potentially here at the line. Yes. Matto leads. Butler gets him back on the outside though on the run to turn 1. Fred Kahn is 2.5 seconds away. Oh. Matson to the inside. Beautiful piece of driving. Pete's going to lead them. But look at that chasing pack. coming like a steam train. There's a big target on the back of the top two at the moment. Oh, no, they won't be for much longer if they keep that up. Adam Proctor and Steve Murray with the hip and shoulder. Proctor lost out in that one. Up the outside goes Cito. Cito's going to go to fourth. Down the inside of Murray. Nicely. Oh, geez, there were barely millimetres in that. Barely millimetres in that. They just got away with it. So we went 5 laps earlier. We'll go 8 laps in this race. Look at them, 3 wide down the back straight. If I was Cito, I'd be holding my breath. One late, one badly timed lunge in all of that, and he would have got cleaned up. Merritt's at the back of the train. Is there, like, find anything better than Formula V on a Thursday night? You won't, you will have a tremendous amount of trouble. Look at that. Millimetres between Aaron Lavis and John Merritt, and Merritt goes up the outside. Oh, what was the big fan? Sends Merritt wide. There goes Chris Noble off the inside of the pair of them two for the price of one, and here comes Sam Chapman as well. Uh-oh, something big is going to happen here. It's brewing. Those 4 cannot race that tightly bunched, that close together without something unfolding.
Also, let's just check this too. While this is going on,
Fred Carter second.
1.3 seconds.
Yep. Maddo's looking good.
I'd love to see it.
But the problem for Maddo is he and Phil Butler were 2 seconds to the good. Butler's been reeled in, so it won't take Maddo long to be reeled in as well.
Noble's got damage.
Slow down.
I think Noble's got damage.
I think it's a slow down.
No, look at the front left there. You can see the suspension arm. It's bent up.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Well picked. Noble's in trouble.
Am I right? I might just be thinking, going crazy. Hold on.
We'll have a look. We'll have a look.
No, I think it's okay.
I think it might be a slowdown.
Yeah, it could have been a slowdown. I think you're on the money there, Zach.
The Wall of Champions is notorious for triggering enormous slowdowns. That chicane. Now, have a look at this. Pete Matson leads by 1.2. Phil Butler's behind Fred Kahn there at the moment. Oh, trouble. Steve Murray and Glenn Cito. Glenn Cito, that has enormous championship implications! The rejoin no good either! Phil King gets cleaned up by Glenn Cito on the rejoin. Shocker of a second race for Glenn Cito. Tony Baker's a lap down. Kurt Neumanson's got back out there. Greg Heaney as well. Oh no, that's going to correct itself just nicely. Greg's parked up. Greg Heaney's done. He's out, but everybody else is now back on the lead lap. Problem is that some of them are only at the start of the lap. Hello, Kevin Henderson. Hello, Kurt Neumanson. Hello, Tony Baker. Glenn Cito is now back up in 16th position in all of that. This is ridiculous. Pete Matson's leading Spreyton side of Formula V. Race 2 of round 8 from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. If this is what Formula V is producing, I can barely wait. I can hardly wait for what we're going to see in Wings and Slicks, the Super Formula lights. Yep. Bad luck indeed. Oh, 3 wide. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Sam Chapman, Piggy in the middle there. He's got Chris Noble to one side and Sean McQuillan to the other. And Chapman's going to lose out in all of this, I think. They just swamped him. One to the outside, one to the inside. McQuillan goes deep, holds the line. Have a look at Chapman trying to get back on the outside. And then on the inside, the up and under, not going to work on Noble. Oh, boy. Fred Kahn's all over the back of Pete Matson like a cheap suit now as well. 2:04.385 for John Merritt, fastest lap of the race thus far, up 21 spots. Merritt's looking good. Oh boy. Actually, we'll call it up 20. For it won't be as many as what the totem poll is suggesting, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, we only had 22 starters, so Merritt being third across the line there would have started on corrected order about 20th, so he's only up 17, we can call that. Fred Kahn to the inside and sliding through. No. Oh no, no trouble gone. Fred Kahn's out of business. In the wall on the outside of the right-hander. That quickly becomes the left-hander, as you can see there. He's gone exit stage right instead of going left down the back straight. Was there contact between these two cars? Yes, there was. Unlucky. Bad luck Pete Matson too, because race control will no doubt have a look at his role in that. And good luck defending John Merritt and Adam Proctor. Here they come. Goodbye. Merritt to the inside. Proctor's going to go with him here. Or at least try to.
Oh, is he going to go for both? Is he going to go? Oh,
Proctor
no.
with the big set? No, not quite. Oh, boy. Main straight again. Across the start-finish line. Have a look at the battle packs here, ladies and gentlemen. This is awesome stuff. You got to love your Thursday night motorsport. And we're only on lap 5 of 8. 2:03.646 for John Merritt, the fastest lap of the race that time around. He is now leading this thing and clearing out. Oh, well, all the carnage would appear as though it's come and gone. And it's left a trail of destruction. Fred Kahn, Kurt Neumansen on the tow ropes in pit lane at the moment. Greg Heaney's retired and parked up. Phil King, Glenn Cedar, Lane Thobert have all been to pit lane in recent laps as well. Lane Thobert, of course, started from pit lane and has already moved his way up to 16th position. And geez, he only needs, 6 more drivers to come unstuck, and he could be potentially staring down an invert pole position. So the reverse grid factor still plays a part, albeit slightly less of a role in the third race, ladies and gentlemen, the invert top 10. And at the moment in that invert position is Ryan Tate. Hello to Trent Lavis tuning in on the other side of the Nullarbor tonight. 2 hours in the past. It makes more sense over there, as I've told you before, though, Trent. The time difference makes a lot more bloody sense over there. Whereas up here, between October and April, no, it doesn't make any bloody sense at all. But it makes a lot of sense over there, and it's a lovely part of the world to visit. I'm not sure I could live on the 2-hour delay, though, permanently. 10.5 minutes gone. John Merritt, Adam Proctor, Pete Matson, Chris Noble getting by Adam Lavis. And we're keeping our eyes on Ryan Tate, who's under pressure from Nick Wood and Brendan Nealon. Tate will lead that three-way battle into the final corner. There's the Wall of Champions to the right. It should claim a victim or two this weekend. In the meantime, across the line they go. Have a look at Wood pulling out of the draft and going for it. Maddo in third place at the moment, but I reckon Race Control will have a look at his involvement in the incident with Fred Kahn. But in the meantime, Ryan Tate back to 10th now as Nick Wood gets through on the inside. 2:03.278 for Chris Noble, now the fastest lap of the race.
What
Two
happened to
laps to go
Merritt?
at the line for Adam Proctor. Now, that's a very good question. Not sure what happened to John Merritt. He's dropped down to 6th. That's a good question. Daniel Correa, let's have a look at that if we can. Let's have a look. Uh-oh, turn 1. Uncharacteristic if it's turn 1 or turn 2 from Merritt. Uh-oh,
Oh, wow.
uh-oh. The back slides out from under him. And Merritt drops down to 6th. The contenders are dropping like flies tonight. And Sam Chapman's in 8th spot. Adam Lavis is back up into 3rd. Pete Matson lets his teammate by. McQuillan's there as well. Lavis and Riddell have a championship to think about. This championship race has gone belly up for Riddell, who's down in 17th at the moment. Geez, I tell you what, the charge through in the next race from Lane Thobert and also Glenn Cedar is going to be well worth sticking around for, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Russell's still outside the top 10 in 12th place. We actually haven't had a chance to go back and pick apart all that carnage from the start of this race, Daniel. Maybe now's a good time to do that before.
Let's see if we can find a good viewpoint from this. Well, I'll go from the first registered incident here. So this is
Copy.
So we've got Phil King here. We'll go from a drone camera. So he comes across on one of the Twitch foot cars. Looks like and there's a tree right in the way. Okay, we'll try
absolutely
a different one there. Okay, so then we saw Aiden Schultz was also involved. This was further down the road. And then
this was the main one. This was the main carnage.
Here we go, yeah. Oh my, that's one car in the back flipping round.
So Schultz and co essentially blocked the road, and then they went left, right, trying to avoid them. So let's ride on board with Kurt Nomensen. What's going on here, please? Oh, he's got collected. He got cleaned up. He got absolutely wiped out. A wild ride for Kurt. 7 minutes played in the Women's State of Origin, New South Wales, Queensland 0-all. Jonathan Hooper had nowhere to go, but took a race to
go around the side and ended up collecting there. So other than that, seems pretty good, actually.
Just going back to what Trent Lavis was commenting on there, I think I've told the story on these platforms before. I got stitched up with some magnificent whiskey at Lakeside one year. Got triple shotted by Trent Lavis's dad, and I have been asking for a bottle of the good stuff for 6 years. We'll happily pay for it, but so far nothing's turned up on the doorstep. So I will be looking forward to a bottle of that in due course, come birthday or Christmas or somewhere down the line. It is a good drop. There's no doubt about that. Philip Butler, 8th place, down the inside. Not making a lunge just yet. Adam Proctor's going to bring us back to the white flag, ladies and gentlemen. White flag in the air this time by, if I've got my numbers right. I'm confident that I've got them right.
Don't think, if I'm not mistaken, Barney is not at work in Canada.
No, does that surprise you?
I think he gets given a day off.
The lazy
mugger. That was Noble sliding there.
3 wide on the run down the main straight. Let's go white flag this time by Adam Proctor leads them at the strike. Adam Lavis under pressure from Sean McQuillan. McQuillan getting by on the inside. McQuillan going to second. Noble's there in 4th. He's been swamped by McQuillan and Lavis. Merritt's back there in 5th. It's not the last lap thriller we might have been anticipating here, ladies and gentlemen. But bear with us because there's still another Ute race to come in Spreyton side of Formula V. On the subject of Barney, yeah, you're right. Lazy Mongrel's not at work. Either that or, iRacing just didn't have it in the budget to take him to Canada. I'm not sure. I just don't know. We'll get everybody's thoughts on the patch update, the big update that dropped late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, throughout the course of the night as well. A lot of excitement around the new GT machinery available, the Corvette and also the Mustang. We spoke about that obviously during our coverage of GT3 on Monday night. I am excited, and I reckon this category right here will be the perfect category for the circuit too, ladies and gentlemen. The home of the MotoGP German Grand Prix, the Saxon Ring, is now on the server, which is hugely exciting. The Saxon Ring, of course, throws up some great racing each year in the bikes, and now the cars get their crack at it. So hopefully somewhere down the line, a Formula V race at the Saxon Ring, because I reckon it'd be absolute perler. Now, last lap of race 2 of round 8, race 26 of the race 23 of the championship, I should say, race 24 coming up. It is Adam Proctor, Sean McQuillan, Adam Lavis, Chris Noble and John Merritt heading down the back straight for the final time. 2nd, 3rd and 4th, there's a real chance of changing hands here as they head down the back straight. Lavis to the outside. Noble insists on pushing McQuillan along on the inside. Lavis has got across to cover them both off. Noble still having a lunge down the inside on Adam Lavis. Have a look at Noble. Rides the curve through the final quarter. Oh, hip and shoulder. McQuillan might be the beneficiary out of all of this, ranging up on the outside of Adam Lavis to 2nd. Adam Proctor gets another race win in Spreyton side of Formula V. And Sean McQuillan edges out Adam Lavis. Chris Noble, that hip and shoulder did neither Lavis or Noble any justice. And John Merritt in for 5th, which is a nice recovery. 6th will go to Pete Matson, Nick Wood, Phil Butler, Ryan Tate, Sam Chapman wins the invert. Good luck, everybody else. Then Aaron Russell held off Brendan Nealon and Steve Murray. can't get enough of this. Like, if we bring Formula V to these circuits each and every week, like, you wouldn't complain. In fact, if we had Formula V Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the entree slot, you wouldn't complain. It is just top shelf racing every time we put them on the circuit. That was, obviously, this track's known for slipstreaming and drafting. You got to time your run right. It'd be like putting them on Daytona and saying, go for it, boys, have at it. In fact, maybe a Formula V Oval Series is something to, you know, put them on the big banked ovals like Texas, Charlotte, Talladega, Daytona, Indianapolis. Put them on the ovals, the big ones. Maybe that's the next step for Formula V. I reckon that would be absolutely hilarious. Great racing as always. Adam Proctor the winner, Sean McQuillan in for second, then Adam Lavis, Chris Noble, John Merritt, Pete Matson, Nick Wood, Phil Butler, Ryan Tate and Sam Chapman. And Chapman will be the beneficiary of the invert pole position for race 3. Cheers, it's been good so far, Daniel.
Definitely has. And again, we've got one more to go. So we already know how crazy these guys can get. So I'm very curious to see just how desperate's probably the wrong word, but desperate these guys get. Obviously, Adam Proctor will be... it's inverse top 10. So Sam Chapman will be leading from the front there. Ryan Tate there in P2. Philip Butler in P3. So we saw John Merritt at one stage before he had his incident. John Merritt was up 24 positions. He went from the absolute back to the front, and then unfortunately, which we've seen a little bit recently, where he goes hard under braking and spins, and I don't know what that is, because it's not something that we saw a lot, if ever, but it has been happening recently. So I'm curious if maybe there's a hardware gremlin that's coming up that's tripping him up, or maybe it's just he spent a little bit of too much time outside of the sim rig and it's getting back into it. Either way, unfortunately he drops down to P5, which does mean he'll start P5. Funnily enough, how that works. And,
so, well, no, actually P6.
Right, yes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Yeah, that's right.
P6, yeah. So Pete Matson will be 5th, but still inside and outside 3rd row, yeah.
Yes.
The other point that we should make in all of that is 2 races, 2 different winners. So
that's right.
We're on track for the hat-trick there.
Well, Sam Chapman didn't win the first, and he didn't win the second, and we know how fast he is from the front. So, yeah, probably a
Sean
good
McQuillan's
guess.
due a win as well. Adam Lavis is due. John Merritt is due. So we'll wait and see. Any one of those blokes could win it on their night. Speaking of, I just mentioned the term hat-trick. Watch the cricket this morning. Go and check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be on your highlight reels on your social media platforms. The Oman captain took the catch of the tournament. I know it's only week 1 of the ICC World T20 over there in the Caribbean and the USA, but the Oman captain, to dismiss Glenn Maxwell for Golden Duck, took the catch of the tournament. On the subject, Australia's next match will be Sunday morning to 3 a.m. So you can virtually hop up early, watch that, and then watch qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix at 6 a.m. So don't say I didn't warn you. Amazon Prime for the cricket, Fox for the Formula 1, and of course Stan for the IndyCar Monday morning as well. Sam Chapman, Ryan Tate, Phil Butler, Nick Wood, Pete Matson, John Merritt, Chris Noble, Adam Lavis, Sean McQuillan, Adam Proctor, the top 5 rows on the grid for race 24 of the campaign. Aaron Russell, Brendan Nealon from 6, Steve Murray, Aidan Schultz from 7. Remember, Aaron Russell, this was this time last week where he brought about all sorts of hero-to-zero moments in Virginia. Won the second race and then unfortunately got caught done in the third while trying to make it 4 wide and go on the inside of everybody. Deck to fire! Race 3, round 8, Spreyton side of Formula V, they're gone! Great start, Chapman. Finally with some clear air, now trying to go about converting it into a race result. Championship on the line here with Cito Lavis in contention as well. The run to turn 1, Pete Matson up there on the outside, but tucks back in to follow John Merritt through the corner. Little bit of movement in that top 10 early on. Watch for the likes of Lane Coburn and also Tony Baker starting from down towards the back of the grid. Aidan Schultz coming from outside the top 10 as well. Gordon Cito already up 4 spots from 16th to 12th. Cito on a charge early on. Down the inside goes Nick Wood on Ryan Tate. John Merritt on Phil Butler. Pete Matson slides back at a 6th spot. 3 wide through the right-hander down onto the back straight. Now they're drag racing. 2 by 2, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at that for a shot. From the waste option, Skycam. 3 wide as Merritt goes through the middle on Nick Wood and Ryan Tate. Merritt goes to 2nd, slicing and dicing. And look at Sam Chapman. He's just bolted. 2 3/4 seconds to the good. 3.5, in fact. Still well banging John Merritt and Ryan Tate. Ryan Tate forcing the issue here on the inside as they head down to the hairpin. They're not going to catch Chapman if they keep jostling at this rate. Noble down on the inside. Whoa! Wheel-to-wheel contact with Nick Wood. Couldn't get it done. And Butler's there as well. Lavis, Matson in behind. We ride with Aaron Russell in 9th. This is going to be chaotic. This is going to be awesome. But unfortunately, it's going to be a scrap for the Miners. 4.2 seconds for Chapman. He's gone 4 wide up in front. Look at this. Look at Phil Butler down the inside of everybody. Nick Wood on the outside. Who yells? Butler's gone. Trouble.
Comes across the track.
Noble, Butler, and somebody else was caught up in all of that as well.
So let's just address the gigantic elephant in the room.
Back to 48 as well. Go for it, Daniel.
Was lap 1, Sam Chapman is 4.3 seconds down the road.
Yep.
Lap
well, actually,
1.
It's not an elephant in the room. He's no longer in the room. He's
no
gone.
longer in the room.
He's just taken off. The elephant is no longer in the room.
4.3 seconds. If you ever wondered,
That's
ladies and gentlemen,
extraordinary.
how much time you can lose fighting with the people around you, there you go.
4.5 seconds. Oh boy, have a look at this. Magnificent stuff. Chapman, Wood, Merritt, Lavis, Matson, McQuillan, Bredell, Russell, Schultz and Proctor the top 10. But unfortunately, they're not catching Chapman. And Merritt and Lavis have taken off as well. Up on the outside goes McQuillan on Matson. McQuillan's got by. So I think we worked it out. Noble was caught up in that incident. Ryan Tate and Phil Butler were the other 2. So Noble was the unfortunate bystander in all of that. We'll go back and have another look at it for you shortly. Phil King and Kevin Henderson on pit lane on the tow rope already. Jake Murray has parked up for the night. Uh-oh, hold your breath again, folks. Here we go. 3 wide on the way to the hairpin. There's nobody working together here. They're all just scrapping for the Miners. Oh, no, more trouble. Pete Matson's in the wall. So too short. McQuillan with a big one. McQuillan's done for the night. So too Matson. Forget about it. Park it in the back of the garage, boys. Unbelievable. What about that for a moment from McQuillan? Pulse tuning. Have a look at Merritt and Cito, right where they want to be, working together in tandem. And
Baker with the exit.
Cito's trying to get by Aaron Russell as well. Just keep an eye on that. Cito and Aaron Russell are back side by side, just like they were last week. The inside goes Cito. 203.660 for Adam Lavis. Russell will defend on the inside. Chapman, Wood, Merritt, Lavis, Russell, Riddell, Proctor, Baker, Schultz and Nealon. The top 10. I'm probably going to hear about it tomorrow. One of the housemates upstairs isn't home. The other one is. And I've probably woken that person up from their sleep. But that's okay. We'll live with that. We'll work with that as the night goes on. In the meantime, have a look at this side-by-side action they go. Glenn Cito.
That's fair.
Down the inside of Aaron Russell and finally gets the job done. But the horse is bolted because... So Nick Wood's second, and John Merritt and Adam Lavis have caught on. They've latched on to Nick Wood. So that's the next battle we're going to keep an eye on. Russell all over the back of Cito again. Proctor's there as well. So too Baker and Schultz and Nealon. Fred Kahn latching on for fun.
It's, Greg, it's, if I'm correct, it's carbon deposits when they shift gears, I believe. Which is why it'll be a pop out the back.
Have a look at this on the run down to the hairpin. How's the camera work down there?
Not bad. All thanks to our...
It's just like watching it in the real world, thanks to the great work of Adam Lavis, one of our Hall of Famers here on the platforms of the GSRC.
Lifetime member as well.
Absolutely. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Thursday night motorsport far from done. On the way down the back straight again, we've got a four-way fight for fifth with Glenn Cito at the forefront of it. Have a look there on the inside. That's Tony Baker going for a lunge. And so too Adam Proctor. Russell's been swamped, loses 3 spots. Riddell drops back to 6. Up the outside went Proctor to P5. Jody Baldwin, of course, that's the YouTube handle for Joe Baldwin, El Presidente. That's the YouTube account in the other half's name. Bring your umbrellas to Super Formula Light is the warning from Trucker. Finally, some wet weather racing on a Thursday night. Looking forward to that very shortly. If Joe's long-range forecast is anything to go by, bring your brolly to Super Formula Light.
Montreal wasn't good enough. Water.
Exactly. This is one of those circuits where you don't necessarily need it, but by gee, it does throw up the excitement level. And real-world forecast for this weekend suggests that we are in for a wet Grand Prix on Monday morning, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Riding on board with Aaron Russell, Sam Chapman, John Merritt, 4.9. 4.9 the margin. Lavis, Wood, Proctor, Cito, Baker, Russell, Schultz, Kahn, Nealon, Thoburn. That's about an 8-car battle pack train at the moment. Have a look at him. Fred Kahn trying to latch back onto the back of that train. Otherwise, it's going to be a pack of 5 and a pack of 3. Aiden Schultz being the last one of those before that great divide.
I never noticed before.
Yes.
But Aaron Russell's team name is quite apt.
Oh dear. Been a bad news day in real world motorsport. I'll cover that off a little bit later on as well, folks. Make sure you join me on Saturday morning on the platforms of West Brummer Radio for that as well. Actually, that reminds me, I was supposed to do a little bit of pre-recording for radio this week and haven't done it yet, so that's going to be fun. Do that tomorrow morning as well before I go to the airport. Sam Chapman, John Merritt, Adam Lavis, Nick Wood, Glenn Cito, Tony Baker and Adam Proctor to the end of the back straight. Round they come again. Aaron Russell sitting there 8th at the moment.
That's a great exit.
It's a good exit, and he's in the right spot as well, because if all hell breaks loose ahead of him,
he's going to squeeze him out.
And he could come through and have C's Part Moses style for him. But it's not going to happen just yet. Baker playing the team game there, only just, on Glenn Cito. And Russell wedging his way down on the inside of Adam Proctor. Aiden Schultz has latched onto this battle as well. They've gapped Fred Kahn and Brendan Elon and Lane Thoburn. They're gone. Chris Noble's rejoined in 13th. Ryan Tate 14th. They're trying to recover after that lap 1 incident at the end of the back straight. We knew something was brewing. There have been some spectacular offs tonight. Nomanson's gone upside down. We've seen him, he's parked up for the night. Pete Matson's gone as well. Sean McQuillan's gone upside down. Kevin Henderson's parked up. Steve Murray as well. We only had 22 starters in that race. And at the moment, we've only got 17 coming home to the checkered flag. 3 laps to go at the line. It is on in earnest here. It's Chapman, it's Lavis, it's Merritt, it's Wood, it's Riddell.
Just having a look at the front runners here. So Sam Chapman still 5 seconds down the road, but the small battle pack here just behind. Lavis is doing steadfast, holding off the other 2. And then you can see that massive 5-car train just behind them. 5 seconds splits them. They're doing a really good job at the moment, but I don't see much shifting between these positions. So I wonder if that's a tactical move or not. John Merritt tells me to shush, because he immediately goes to the right-hand side, makes the overtake nice and easy. Nick Wood slots up just behind there, and there they'll go again. As we move back, Glenn Riddell's now fighting off Proctor. But of course, the 2 Pulse boys will be working in tandem to try and ensure they hold on to their respective positions. It looks like Brendan Nealon's just behind there with Lane Thoburn and Fred Kahn.
Trent Lavis highlighting that Adam Lavis is having a better run this week. Well,
yes.
It didn't start out well in race 1. Oh, trouble! Tony Baker has got into the side of his teammate Glenn Cito, and he's taken, I think it was Adam Proctor with him as well. Holy smoke! You don't normally see that, especially with the teammates working so beautifully together, but unfortunately, Baker's got into the back of Glenn Cito and wiped out Adam Proctor in the process. Yes way, unfortunately.
And all the while, Aaron Russell goes through and says,
thanks very much.
I'm clear. That wasn't me.
The seas have parted beautifully for me.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But he's now got to contend with Aiden Schultz. I cannot believe that. This is one of those moments. It's championship and season defining. Glenn Cito is now on pit road on the tow rope in 15th, and Tony Baker's 16th. Championship implications right here for those two men. Championship implications, particularly for Cito, but he's got to be mindful of Sam Chapman and Adam Lavis and where they finish. Remembering, coming into the night, Cito had a 32-point advantage on Chapman and 33 on Lavis. That will not be a pleasant debrief in the Pulse Tuning Echuca Toyota stable tonight.
And it is also just a lapsed moment. I honestly think it's a lapse in judgment. Tony Baker didn't realise he'd missed the brake marker. You can see the panic brake because the front of that car dipped real hard into the ground, and unfortunately he had nowhere to go. Oh, Lavis is round!
Adam Lavis, just as Trent Lavis had said, he's having a far better run tonight. Oh dear. Drops to 4th. Let's have a look at this again. Well picked up, Daniel Correa-Sarr, just too deep into the corner. And he knew it as well because you saw him trying to turn the car through. And unfortunately, Lavis bites the dust as well. John Merritt and Nick Wood are now 7 seconds up the road. Chapman is a lap and 3/4 from home. Merritt and Wood fighting over the final 2 spots on the podium. One of them will be second, one of them will be third, although I don't want to put the mocker on it because tonight has been one of those nights where anything could happen and those two could wipe one another out. All of a sudden you're looking at Adam Lavis, Aaron Russell and Aiden Schultz.
That'd be a story.
Wouldn't it?
God.
Wouldn't it be? Oh,
now,
dear.
are we on the final lap? I think technically
next time around.
It would be next time because Sam had crossed
the
line, and I believe we're still under the 15 minutes, so it should give us an extra.
That's right.
Well, in that case, Nick Wood's got to prep because he has no threat from behind, at least for now. And he heard me. He heard me. He's gone.
He's left the door wide open. Nick Wood doesn't wait for a second invitation. Have a look at this.
This is on the left-hand side of that hairpin because what we know well is on the right-hand side of that hairpin, or the left-hand side from the camera we're facing, is the big straight at the back. And that's where the draft happens. So we'll see if he can hold on to it. Usually what they'll do is they'll try and hold the middle lane because they're allowed to. You have to give one car gap, and let's face it, these aren't very wide, so you can basically pick wherever you like. And it looks like he's going to try and stick on the outside, which is interesting because, well, for starters, John Merritt's just going to go past anyway. So that all resets, and we go for the last lap.
White flag in the air. Chapman's half a minute from time, but he's 1 lap from home. Now, back to Chris Noble in a fight for his life with Fred Kahn and Lane Thurburn and Brendan Nealon. One more time around on the Ile Notre Dame, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Remembering that at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, we will bring you the third last round of the Wings and Slicks. Our Super Formula lights. Whoa! Have a look at this. Chris Noble trying to get round Fred Kahn. Fred's forcing the issue. Fred is holding sway and making life difficult. Putting in mega defense. With the rainbow jigsaw puzzle and all. Have a look at that for a livery. Oh, fantastic. Now on the run down to the left-hander. We're into overtime. We always end up in overtime when we come to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Glenn Cito pointing out the obvious. He did have a target on his back tonight. Unfortunately, the target was collected by a teammate, not anybody else. It's been a rough night for Cito. Championship defining one, maybe. Let's have a look at this. Sam Chapman, Nick Wood, and John Merritt. Chapman clear by 5 seconds. Victory will be his. Nick Wood into the second last sequence of corners here. The run down the back straight, then to the chicane at the end of the casino straight. The Wall of Champions, and then the checkered flag. There are battles raging everywhere in the top 10 at the moment. Let's call this one to the line first, then we'll go back. Merritt to the inside. Wood leaves him some space, moves to the outside. John Merritt with the overlap. Got him. Merritt will go second. Sam Chapman, the race winner. 3 different winners in the round.
He touched the wall.
And Spreyton starter, Formula V. John Merritt and Nick Wood arguing over second. I think Merritt's got it. Merritt will get second, Wood third. 2 podiums in the night for John Merritt. Aaron Russell.
Chris Noble.
Aaron Russell holds off Adam Lavis for 4th. Aiden Schultz into 6th ahead of Wayne
the tire's broken.
Brendan Nealon. Unbelievable. Brendan Nealon for 9th, Fred Kahn for 10th, and Chris Noble. Have a look at that for a wild ride to the finish line. Will come home 11th. And he lost how many spots on the final corner? We'll find out in a moment. Geez, there's some incidents to pick apart from this race. Too much curb. He did it all on his own. Bang into the wall. But he lost at least 2, maybe 3 spots. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think that's touching the ground.
It happens to the best of them.
It's not.
The race 1 winner meets tyre wall on the final quarter of the final lap of the final race.
Why does that remind me of Brum, the car?
Yeah. There's a reference that half of our audience won't understand.
Might be showing
We're just showing our age now, Daniel.
That's what that is.
Just showing our age. That's all we're doing. Magnificent. Oh, we love rocking and rolling in here on a Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you do as well. This is the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and we're on the platforms of Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We've got Wings and Slicks, Super Formula Lights coming your way, and we wouldn't be here without the great support of the people like Spreyton Cider, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Lobsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. We've still got cars making their way to the finish line here. We've got Chapman about to load it up with some celebrations, no doubt, in what could be a championship-defining drive for him. Extraordinary. Race control's busy. They've got a couple of visitors in there at the moment, so there will be some post-mortems coming in from all of that. And have a look at it now. Have a look at it now. That'll obviously... You're welcome, Brooksy. You're welcome. I mean, that will obviously get some tweaking and some nudging once Adam Lavis applies the matrix and the bonuses and whatever else to it. But that gives you an indication as to how championship defining that was tonight. A sense that we've got 3 drivers now within 10 points of one another, with 6 races left in the championship. It's never been as tight as that. Holy smoke. Oh boy. Now, just quickly before young Mr. Schultz joins us to have a chat, just want to take you around the grounds, ladies and gentlemen. It's a busy Thursday night, of course. Socceroos kicking off in 20 minutes as well. The World Cup qualifier against Bangladesh. But we've got we've got State of Origin 2 for the women on at the moment. We've got Adelaide taking on Richmond in the AFL, and at the moment it's 5-5-35 playing 5-4-34 in favour of Adelaide. So it's an even-Steven sort of game there at the moment. New South Wales drew first blood, of course, tonight at McDonald Jones Stadium in the Hunter Valley in Newcastle there. 6-0 they lead, 2.5 minutes out from half-time. We've got Sam Chapman, we've got Aiden Schultz here alongside us. Schultzy, not a bad charge to end the night. You found yourself in the wars during it, but at least to finish with the top 10 race finish. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Welcome to the Bees. That's the way it goes, but no practice. Don't make it about me. It's about Chapo tonight. What a great drive by him. But, yeah, race 3 was the best one of the night. Had a good time, but, yeah, no practice made around a tricky track in the V's. That's what happens, but yeah, good racing.
You say tricky track in the V's, but I mean, that's not necessarily because of the layout of the circuit or the way it drives. It's more in the sense that everybody's so tightly stacked and you can so easily run into trouble when everybody's that well bunched up, Schultz.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a different opinion. What I found hard tonight is having to go to second on a couple of corners, and in the V, that's a bit sketchy sometimes if you don't get it right. So that's what I was struggling with earlier, why I qualified back in the 20s and whatever. So as the race went on, it was good, but yeah, the racing was amazing. It was good. Unfortunately, there was a couple of incidents there, but you know, that's what V's create, and that's why you like commentating it and why you like watching it, and that's why we go do it. So that's what it's about, mate.
Oh, mate, we love every single aspect of it. The 2 and 3 wide stuff like what you're seeing on your screen here. Let's have a look at this actually, folks, because this was the big moment of that third race. 4 wide on the run down to the final quarter was never going to work all that particularly well. And watch the garbage unfold. 3 to the outside. Including Noble and also who else got caught up in that? Ryan Tate was caught up in that, and I think as well was Jonathan Hooper. Might not have been Hooper, we'll find out in a moment, but then they got down to turn 2 and it was on again. Have a look at them. Just magnificent racing. That's why we love it. The battle packs, the big ones, and there were some hefty shunts tonight. Sam Chapman put this on the list for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. You'll hear from the race 3 winner in just a moment. Schultz, no practice, but I mean, at least you had good pace with it. Unfortunately, you just got cleaned up at the start of race 2 there as well, mate.
Didn't have pace. Let's not put the cart in front of the horse there, mate. Didn't have pace at all. But,
I'm trying to be nice. Oh.
Yeah, I know. First for everything. But no, didn't have pace at all, to be honest. Just trying to navigate around the car. It's hard when you're practicing while you're in a race and with the draft-dependent cars and all that type of stuff. So it was race 1 got caught up, which put me on pole in the second one, and then ran out of ability and spun it around. And I followed my teammate, actually, Phil Butler, when he was going around, so we didn't have the best second race, and then just tried to consolidate, and then started out of 14th in the final race, and I probably didn't have anything probably for a top 10, to be honest, if it wasn't for the incident between the guys in front. But it was good racing with Aaron Russell there at the end, and Ads, and having a bit of a run and being there or thereabouts if someone just does a 3.5 somersault and twist in the background. Yeah, no, it was good, mate. It was good. You know, I enjoy this platform. You know, I enjoy racing, and it's good to race around these guys. So.
Indeed. Now let's just remind everybody we've got 2 rounds left. We've got, I believe it's been confirmed that we're going to Magello for the season finale. So that leaves just Sebring, but it's not the full circuit at Sebring, is my understanding. It's the Johnson Club circuit. So are you familiar with that?
Yeah, Sebring. Yeah, I am. Yes. Yeah, like it. But you know what it's like in the V's, mate. We go there, you can be first in practice, first in qualifying, and end up 24th in the race. So we'll see how it goes. It'll create good racing. Magello I'm looking forward to for round 10 as well, so that'll be fun. I'm not in the championship at all, haven't won all the rounds, I haven't run all the rounds. But yeah, looking forward to it, mate. Always love coming out here on a Thursday night and running the V's. It's really good.
And what else is on your radar in the next couple of days, please, Schultz? Are you jumping in for the Le Mans 24 this weekend in any capacity?
I don't think we're doing Le Mans 24. We haven't really put anything together. We're probably more focusing on the Watkins Glen coming up, which will be good. Outside of that, really focusing on the up-and-comers at the moment. They say it's up-and-comers, but it's definitely not. Me and Kingy are there, and there's only, I think, 12 points between us in the championship with 2 rounds to go, and I missed the first 2 rounds, so I've got no drop rounds to go. So looking forward to that one. We'll see how that goes. Of course, GT3 and everything will be in and around that. It's been unfortunate this year that I've had to put my sim rig away for the first couple of rounds of the season, so looking forward to season 3, 2024, and that doesn't make me look good on broadcast, does it? Season 3 for 2024, and we might have a good tilt at a couple of things. Of course, the Super 3 is a big thing as well. Missed a couple of rounds in that, and had a couple of wins, couple of podiums, and slowly navigating my way up through the points. So next year I'll be focusing on that a lot as well, and a lot of good guys in there as well. Me and Snetto get along really well, who's winning it, and I think he's going to win it, so go get it, Snetto. And next season we'll focus on a couple of things and see how we go.
All good, very nicely done. New content dropped overnight, mate. Interesting to see a couple of the tracks. The one we're probably most synonymous with is the Saxon Ring, and that's only through our spectatorship of MotoGP.
Yeah, mate. What I'm more excited about is the new GT3s that have been downloaded.
Everybody else, yeah.
Mate, seriously, I downloaded the Mustang, because I'm a Ford man. Not that it really matters. But I drove around that on the new free track that they downloaded as well, or uploaded, whatever you want to say. Mate, they are sexy. The way that they sound and drive is amazing. If you think of a GT3 and probably think about the Merc, the way that drove, put that on steroids, and you got that. And the first time I jumped in, it was in wet as well. So, I'm looking forward to that. It's good. It's created another good aspect in the iRacing platform, and another thing, especially for the club moving forward as well, to probably use through the GT3 sector as well. So, looking forward to see how that goes. It's going to create some good racing, and we'll see how we go.
And I'll get a comment from both you and Sam Chapman, as we welcome Chapo in at this point, on the fact that we can now go race the GT4s in the rain as well, boys.
Huge.
Talk to you first.
Can we have no rain? Because I'm borderline naughty without the rain. So, if we add rain, it just adds borderline nothing. I like it. It brings the field back to each other, and it makes you think about your racing as well, especially in the servers if they're set up where it's dry and then it goes into rain. It's what iRacing has done in that aspect. It's created it more realistic. It's just whether we create it realistic in the real world and go, okay, we don't need rain every race, but it will be good to see that, and it creates different strategies and different things, and be able to drive in the rain in iRacing is different. And the reason it is, you talk about broadcasting when you have 60 cars, it's hard to draw the 60 cars. It's the same with us with our computers and our graphics, being able to see the puddles and all that type of stuff. So I like the rain. In the real world, I was pretty good in the rain if I go back 20 years ago, but in iRacing, I am horrible.
Hopefully that'll be something you'll be able to improve on in the next short while, mate. Hey, nice to catch up with you. Thanks for stopping on by. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the broadcast, and well done, Chapo, on your win, mate. Big congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
And of course, I feel the need to remind everybody at this point in time that I was reliably informed that today was Queensland Day, but because it's Queensland, there was no public holiday for it, and most of the progressive and civilised parts of the country, not Western Australia and Queensland, are observing a public holiday on Monday for the King's birthday. So it is a long weekend coming up around most of the country, as evidenced by the fact that you've got an AFL game and an NRL game being played on Monday afternoon, even an AFL game on Sunday night. Aidan Schultz has exited stage left, which just leaves us with Kurt Novenson and Sam Chapman. Chapo, well done. Joe Baldwin reliably informs us that you might need to bring your raincoats and your gumboots to Super Formula Light in just a few moments' time, the wings and slicks here at the Ile Notre Dame circuit. But as far as Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and you are concerned tonight, a very, very commanding win in race 3 of Formula V. But what have you got to say about the other two races, please?
Oh, mate. Race 3 was a dream run. And the third just got away very well and was pushing really hard that first lap, and everyone else decided to fight rather than work together, and it worked in my favour. So was stoked with that. It was after race 2. The difficulty was from the get-go after 3 turns. Someone went in front of me, and I had damage that would have been close to 1.5, 2 seconds a lap, because I was losing half a tenth while in tow coming up the casino straight behind people. But other than that, was able to get through. So just tried to stick as much as I could within people's toe and was able to hold on to 10th just. So that was a godsend in its own right. And yeah, race 1 was just slow start. Was taking it, really safe to start with when it's a long race, but then one pack split from the other, and we couldn't catch it back up again, that top pack. So not too bad, but yeah, came in 4th. But it's this round could have gone one way or the other, and unfortunately it looks like the champ's back on for a bit of a battle now, which is great.
You and Adam and Cito duking it out, doing battle over the next 2 weeks, 6 races, mate. Should be a lot of fun. Magello's the unknown, but then again, the Sebring configuration is probably not known to us either. So what are your thoughts? How does this play out in the next couple of weeks, and how do you buy some luck in the first 2 races instead of just getting the invert pole position for race 3 and converting there, please?
I'll tell you what, it's a good question. I think part of it is it's actually going to be being aggressive and trusting yourself in those 2 races. Where I've got caught out oftentimes, particularly in that reverse grid, is actually when I've been too tentative and then I'll get rear-ended. I think it's just going to be a case of pushing through the pack that race, and obviously just trying to do well in that first race. But it's also not the end of the world if you don't absolutely kill that first race, just because it is a full reverse grid. So yeah, it'll be staying out of trouble. That's going to be the key here. That's what does it, particularly with the way that this setup's done now. I've got to stop picking tracks that I've never driven. I actually haven't done the Johnson Club layout before. I did the same thing to myself in TCR last night with Mid-Ohio.
No.
But yeah, I think it should still be fun. It should be good run.
Indeed. Are you having a run in the Super Formula Lights as well?
Mate, I'm trying to. I've not made a full lap yet.
Oh dear.
It is quite tricky out there, and I'm not quite as adept in the Super Formula Lights as I am in the Bs, and it shows. So we're going to see if we can get a quali lap in, get some heat into the tyres. It is drying out, so it will be interesting to see if anyone decides to go onto slicks early on or anything like that, because there's certainly a bit of a dry line, although through some of these chicanes there absolutely isn't, and I've just spun out of the Wall of Champions and cocked it. So damage on the back end, so we'll start again. We'll give it another crack. Might be a ban from the student sort of situation though.
All right, very nicely done. Nice to catch up with you as per usual, mate. Go well for the rest of the night. Let's catch up later in the week, yeah? Or later in the night, I should say. Come back and have a chat to us after Super Formula.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it's not too early.
Exactly. Very nicely done, thank you. Quickly to Kurt Novenson and also to John Merritt. Kurt, I'll start with you because Mr. Merritt's a late arrival here. Mate, you've had better nights at the office. Unfortunately, an up and over in one of the races there, and probably lucky that it was a virtual incident, not a real world one, because that looked rather chaotic.
Yeah, it was a good start. I was having a good run, and I think Tony just dived in a little bit too deep into there, locked the brakes right on turn-in point, and nothing much on his part, just locked up, and I turned in, bounced off him, so nothing, no harm, no foul. Tried to race on, but just a little too frustrated and made more mistakes, so decided to park it up and try and focus on the third race.
And fair enough too. There's some pictures coming in from a drying circuit, Gilles Villeneuve, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But whether that's drying for more rain to come back,
does it feel dry?
Or whether
it does not feel dry at all.
No, it doesn't feel dry, and it doesn't look dry, but it does look like the rain has stopped. So it does look like it should be drying. Yeah, have a look at the puddles everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. So stand by. There's going to be plenty of wet weather action and imagery coming your way very shortly from the Notre Dame circuit. Not the biggest field in the world for Super Formula Light either, ladies and gentlemen, but we're bringing that race to you shortly. Kurt, How are you feeling about Super Formula Light for number 1 and number 2? Obviously, they put tonight's Formula V to the back burner because there wasn't much to write home about. But give us your thoughts on Sebring Club and also, or Sebring Johnson Club, and also Mugello, because that's what's to come for Formula V.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'll go in Super Formula. Currently running at the back of the pack in Quali, but not doing too bad. I think I can definitely make a bit of time up. I'm constantly improving as we go, so that's good. Definitely excited for Mugello and Sebring. Mugello are going to be a nice slipstream down into turn 1, so we'll see the chaos that ensues down there as people miss their braking points. And yeah, I haven't done much of the Johnson Club, so we'll have to do some laps around there before we go there with the Vs.
All right, mate, running short for time, but I appreciate you stopping on by and having a chat to us, and hopefully next week goes a little bit better in the V for you.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how we go. I'll stop back in after the Super Formulas.
Please do. Looking forward to having a chat with you then. Aidan Luthwaite on top of the timesheets here at the moment from Jackson Rayhana, Brett Barker, Jamie Welch and Adam Lavis, the top 5. Let's bring in John Merritt. Hot lap. Let's just pick this apart, shall we? First out of the hairpin on the final lap of race 1, only to end up 3rd. And then you spun yourself out of the lead there at one point in race 2. And then in race 3, you were chasing Sam Chapman, but he was already gone after the opening lap. And unfortunately, you're at the forefront of some team controversy with Tony Baker getting into the side of Glenn Sedell just to put an exclamation mark on the turn of the night that the championship leader had.
Yeah, we didn't really shine. It was a tough night. You needed the tank armour all over the car tonight, but yeah, it was a bit of fun. A tough track with a big field in V's, I think, and with that reverse grid, you know, works on some tracks, but it was difficult tonight.
Indeed it was. Didn't necessarily work into your favour. That being said, you did buy a bit of luck in race 2, didn't you, mate? Because you were able to weave your way through the field quite beautifully, and we're used to seeing you do that. There aren't too many people that can do that so effortlessly, but unfortunately you tripped yourself up at turn 2.
Yeah, mate. Maybe I was spending the bickies before they were in the jar or something, but yeah, a couple of times I just couldn't. I misshifted going into second at turn 2 there, and it happened again and carried too much speed, and the rest was history. So probably a win gone begging there, but yeah, I was happy just to support the boys for the night, and if I had an opportunity, you know, give them a position, take some points off others, and but sadly it didn't quite work out where we wanted it.
Indeed, and obviously, Starkey just pointing out 12-hour shift, 7 days of it, and the brain's not braining anymore. Bad luck, Starkey. That being said, got to love your dedication to the craft. Most people would opt for sleep on the back of 7x12, but not you, obviously, just yet. Hot lap. Obviously, it's nice to see you back in here on a regular basis. We're very excited about what's to come in GT3 land, but obviously there's 2 big rounds to come in Formula V, and there's a role for you to play here now, especially after tonight, in trying to help Cito get across the line.
Yeah, 100%. That's my role for the next. What have we got? 2 rounds to go.
Correct.
Yeah.
This time in a fortnight, we'll know who the champion is.
Yeah, that'll be the role. So if we can take some points here and there, and help him with a draft on down the straights, well, that'll be the go.
Starkey will be happy to know that I've swapped the coffee out for the lime cordial at this point in time. Whoa, look at Aidan Luthwaite, not limited there to turn 1, to the final corner, I should say, through the exit down onto the main straight.
Looks
now
slick out there.
Turn 1, it is very slippery. There's no doubt about that. Jackson Rayhana's picked him for pole position. That's the big talking point here at the moment. 1 minute 40.168. Now, I believe it's sole qualifying out there at the moment, so Adam Lavis just out there on his lonesome, and he's trying to clock a lap that will hopefully get him onto the inside of the second row. Guy Leach is currently occupying that position, but Adam Lavis is showing us 4th place on the totem pole. Hot lap. I said it in the call. I want your thoughts on it. The Sachsenring in Germany is one of the new tracks in the server on the back of on the back of the patch update that came in on Tuesday night. Great circuit for MotoGP, and I reckon it'll be a banger of a circuit for Formula V as well.
Yeah, it's a cracking MotoGP track. So I can't say I've driven a sim round there, and there's a couple of the newer tracks.
Well, I would hope that you haven't, Hot Lap, considering it only got loaded on Tuesday.
But no other sims either. But
no, true.
I must admit, there's a couple of the newer ones I haven't yet purchased. So, but Sachsenring looks pretty exciting.
Indeed it does. All right, mate. Thank you for that. Appreciate it as always. Go and enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you Monday.
Good luck with the call, mate. Cheers.
I'll need it. Formula V's taken a fair bit out of the old vocal cords tonight. When doesn't it? Let's remind everybody of where we're at and what we're doing. This is Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We'll stay across the Bangladesh Socceroos World Cup qualifier if we can get some scores in. It is exclusive to Paramount Plus. New South Wales currently leading Queensland 6 points to 0. 38th minute of a 70-minute match. It's important to note, 35 each way, of the second women's state of origin. And Adelaide with the advantage over Richmond, 5-6 playing 5-5. 1 point the advantage there at half-time. I do know the TCR Australia category manager is actually there at that game tonight with the red, blue and yellow on, it's fair to say. Look for it behind the goal square. Now, there's the lay of the land, ladies and gentlemen. 19 degrees the ambient, 18 on track, always cooler track in the wet conditions. 11:47 in the morning as we tick past the end of the qualifying server here. Cars about to line up on the grid. So as those conditions update for you, we'll bring in the updated track conditions and times there for you. 11:57 a.m. now it's showing as 19 the ambient, 19 on track continuing to dry, but it's still a little bit damp in parts. We're on a 4.31 kilometre circuit layout here, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. A rare opportunity for us to double up at the same venue for both Formula V, the main course, and Super Formula Lights, the dessert, on a Thursday night with thanks to Spreyton Cider. Wings and Slicks, Super Formula Lights, here we go. 2 sprint races tonight for you, ladies and gentlemen. Jackson Ray Harner, Aidan Luthwaite at the front row, Adam Lavis, Guy Leach second, Jamie Welch and David Daz the third row, Brett Barker and David Christensen the fourth row, Oscar Haynes and John Baldwin from row 5. Oscar Haynes, of course, brilliant the other night in GT3, it's fair to say. Sam Chapman, Paul Wilson from 6, Greg Heaney, Matt Schmidtke from 7, Stephen Crittenden, Kurt Nomanson, Brett Bradbury, Scott Jordanson and Mark Gomez making up the 19 in this field. Now, as far as the championship's concerned, coming into this round, the Wings and Slicks, I should say, Jackson Ray Harner on top, 329, 36 points clear of Aidan Luthwaite, 293, 244 for Mark Gomez, 227 for David Baz and 219 for Brett Barker. Guy Leach, Adam Lavis tied on 207 points, back to Matt Schmidtke, John Baldwin and Cam Culverwell, who's not on the grid tonight, making up the top 10. We're ready to rock and roll. Good to see Scott Jordanson in there as well tonight, lining up on the grid in position number 18. Had a very entertaining chat with Scott post Monday Night Motorsport in here. He and Kurt stuck around and had a chat to Adam Lavis and I off air, but I'm still yet to work out whether Adam actually got a word in or not. I don't think he did. We're ready to go. Excuse me. 15 minutes for race 1, 25 for race 2. Jackson Ray Harner and Aidan Luthwaite, the 2 form men of the championship, lining up on the front row of the grid. Waiting to see if Jamie Welch joins us. He does now. Full field grid set. Mark Gomez non-starter. 18 of them about to roar around the streets of the Ile Notre Dame, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Let's go! There's still a little bit of water on this circuit. So it would have been an interesting... Oh, trouble. I was just about to say it was going to be trouble everywhere. Cars everywhere. Now, will they throw the caution to allow these guys the opportunity to come in and change tyres? It's a 15-minute race, and as you can see there's no rain falling, but it is very, very sketchy on that racetrack. Very icy, very skatey, very hairy. Oh, trouble, more. Sam Chapman's on the tow rope. Guy Leach is parked up. Stephen Crittenden and Greg Heaney have run into trouble early on, and at the front, Jackson Rayhana and Aidan Luthway to take it off. Rayhana's 2 seconds to the good. Brett Barker slotted into third. David Christensen up to fourth. Adam Lavis back to fifth despite an early moment. Brett Bradbury up 11 spots already. So, there you go. That would have been the tricky decision. That would have been left at the hands. Whoa, no more trouble there. Is that Rayhana? Is that Jackson Rayhana?
David Baz.
It was David Baz. Oh, jeez. I tell you what, that worried me for a moment. Much smaller field now, Starkey. You're right. David Baz, Sam Chapman on the tight wide. Matt Schmidt gives Oscar Haynes ranges up on the inside. Oh, Schmidtke's gone. Schmidtke touches the wall. See, that's the thing. These guys would have been flying blind. They would have seen that it was dry, but they wouldn't have known how wet the track still was. So I think you've already got a fair indication as to who stayed on slicks and who maybe stayed, or who opted to switch to slicks, I should say, and who maybe decided to get onto the wet tyre.
For everyone at home, just a reminder, because there has been an update for it, you can see it
John
on the timing
Baldwin
tower.
and Jamie Welch. Oh, sorry. There's one off on the Wall of Champions, Daniel. I didn't want to jump in on the top of you there, but there's one that's gone off on the Wall of Champions. John Baldwin and Jamie Welch have come to pit lane. That's Scott Jordanson onto the main straight and looping it. Oh, he got the ripple strip. He got the puddle on the ripple strip. That's what that'll be. Oh boy. So there is perfect illustration for you right now, ladies and gentlemen, as to who did what, who zigged and who zagged. There was a decision to be made, a gamble to be taken. Whoever took the gamble to stay on the wets and whoever gambled go on the dries, I think you can tell that those that stayed on the wets, those that got on the treads, Daniel, they've been the beneficiaries thus far, because it is still a very wet racetrack and there are enough puddles around. I don't mind saying Rayhana locks it up at the hairpin. Luthway goes through to the lead. Brett Barker goes through. Can't get by Rayhana. Barker slots back into third place. Rayhana back to second. And Luthway, the leader in Canada. It's interesting because the point that I'm going to say here, and I want to lead into letting you pick up where you left off, was that, oh, look at this. Barker up the outside. Rayhana up the outside. And Luthway's piggy in the middle once more. Barker couldn't get through. Now, there are still, the good thing for these guys that have stayed on the treads, Daniel, is that there are still enough puddles and there's still enough water to work with out there to keep these wet weather tyres cool and under control for the moment, which should hopefully see them through the next 12 minutes. But because I don't see the track drying out that badly or that much between now and the end of the 15 minutes. If it does, at least they've got the option of coming in and switching over, but I don't think it'll get to that.
Yeah, and one of the things to keep in mind, or to make note of, is if we just go back to that Jackson Rayhana mess up there going into the hairpin, the initial incident that happened at turn 2 was lockups by drivers on wet tyres. So the dry tyres obviously have their own issues. I understand the gamble that they tried to do, but it is just simply there's too much water out there for the dries to work because there are too many crossover points where you have to run over water and it's just death. So, but there was cold tyres. People forget cold tyres. They aren't the temperature. Wet tyres need to be at a certain temperature to be effective when you're dispersing water. You do not get that tyre temp within 250 meters of the line. It doesn't happen. So people went in way too fast. They went to put on the brakes. There wasn't the amount of grip that they thought there was going to be, and that's what caused the massive carnage. Now, the majority of people came in to get damage repaired and things like that, but there are still, to my account, 5 people on track, 4 people on track, because Jamie Welch is just coming to the pits, 4 people on track still on dry tyres as Brett Barker gets put into the wall. And there's a reason why that wall's named. But in any case, that's dropped him back. So Rayhana now with a fastest lap. Luthway takes it immediately. 40.097 as David Baz just gets in between them both. And everybody on the track has fallen off each other except the 2 at the front. And you can expect for the next 10 minutes, they're going to be inseparable, unless, of course, something major happens.
Oh, Adam Lavis off the road now as well. Loses a spot to David Christensen. So Lavis has bit the grass on the way through and loses out to Christensen, his teammate. So he goes back to 5th. Bradbury to 6th. Wilson, Haynes, Schmidtke, Nomanson currently sitting in the invert spot in 10th. Baz is a lap down. Guy Leach is out of business. Jamie Welch back on pit road, has been for about a minute and a quarter, or a minute and a half now, in fact. So there's been a lot of drama unfold in the opening 4 laps here, and have a look at the hurry up that Jackson Rayhana's getting from Aiden Luthwaite. Luthwaite down the outside to the hairpin. Last of the deep breakers here. Rayhana manages to pull it up this time around. Luthwaite trying for the up and under. Standing on the gas. Look at the slideways commitment from these two at the moment. It's controlled, it's smooth, it's entertaining, it's very slick.
Luthwaite dropped back significantly coming out of that hairpin. He's almost lost a second there. I'm not exactly sure what happened to do that. Maybe he's just regaining his composure. He still has some time there. Remember, we have 2 races here tonight from the Super Formula Lights. We are in sprint mode, which generally means we have 2. So it's a 15-minute race 1 and a 25-minute race 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
As Jackson Rayhana, 1:39.5, and you can expect those times to keep coming down as they get more and more laps in, because of course they are drying the track as they do so. Now, these guys were very close together, but unfortunately they've separated. Greg Heaney seems to be the closest one on track to a competitor at the moment. That is 0.3 down in P11. And so, yeah, I'm not too sure exactly what happened to Luthwaite there, but it has unsettled the car somewhat, and Rayhana has managed to put a gap there for now. We still have a couple of laps to go, and we'll see if he can catch him. The back straight is the best chance to do that, because the draft is quite strong in these cars.
Well, that's one point. We will go time certain on this one, because whatever the lap counter was set to, it'll be out of whack, because it would have been set originally with the intention of running dry conditions. So,
correct. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I would imagine that next time round we'll have, what are we doing, about 1:40 at the moment is our fastest time. So well, we'll be about the 8.5 minute mark, so we'll have 6.5 minutes to go. So my best guess is we're going to have 4 laps at the line. So it'll be a 9-lap opening heat.
Rayhana is pulling away on the straight.
Rayhana's got great legs on the straight.
So Rayhana's running a lower downforce setup.
Did you see the inroads that? Did you see the inroads that made?
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Did you see the inroads that Luthwaite made on the run into? Or out of the chicane, I should say. Have a look at it now.
So how's he doing that?
And just by the by, that voice you heard in the background there was Sam Chapman, ladies and gentlemen, making a cameo appearance in the central commentary position when he is actually out on the racetrack, and that's on the back of a 2.5 minute pit stop on the opening lap. Chapo, did we gamble with slicks and got caught out?
No, I'm just crap.
Okay.
It was bloody brilliant too, because we got through, and someone came into me on the first corner, so I had damage, but went up to like 3rd or something. But hit a white line. That's what happens when you haven't done enough laps in the rain around here, I guess. Hit a white line and just went absolutely flying. So, it went still, you know, still running out at time. It's still just the way these chicanes are, how racy they are. It really pulls around them, and they're already tough enough. And so to do them on slicks would be impossible.
Copy that. All right. Now, Rayhana's got this race under control at the moment. He's got Luthwaite chasing, so too Brett Barker. I tell you what, Brett Barker's really found his niche here, hasn't he? We've said it time and time again that Brett Barker is right at home in these Super Formula Lights, bagging best results that we've seen from him in the GSRC platforms right here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We're 3 laps from home. This will be a 9-lap opening heat, ladies and gentlemen, at about just under 1:40 a lap.
I have to point this out. Jackson Rayhana's top speed is 232 kilometers an hour. Luthwaite's top speed is only 217. What has happened to that car for him to be down? What's that? 15?
He's not consolidating, is he?
What? Why?
Now that track's
Not at a
getting
sprint race.
that track is drier as well. There's no doubt about that. But I stand by my previous statement that they're better off just persevering with the slicks or the treads for now, because I don't think there's any benefit in stopping down pit lane for slicks this late in the race. There's only 2 laps to go.
It's still not slick weather yet either. I reckon you'd die on slicks, like just with the puddles and that sort of thing.
Yep.
It's still quite slippery.
Yeah.
In a lot of parts, it's very dry, but there's still just aspects you wouldn't
There's
use.
just enough water to justify it. Yeah, exactly. 1:38.327 for Rayhana the previous time around. Barker gets by Lutzwait. Chris Stark speculating that he might have touched a curb somewhere or has clouded a wall.
Has to be damage of some sort, because it just doesn't make sense otherwise.
Whoa!
It's a shame, really,
wall.
because he was right
2 laps
there
to go.
fighting with Jackson, and he's dropped back, and nobody's catching Jackson now. 38.225.
37.5
Wow,
for
I'll
Brett
take that
Barker.
back. Brett Barker's flying.
Brett Barker. 7/10 on Rayhana. What about that? Magnificent from Brett Barker. Keeping Lutzwait at bay at the moment. The battle for second is on in earnest. It looks like we're going to have 16 finishes in all of this. David Baz will go down a lap. Rayhana's closing in on you, Chapo, so just keep an eye out on
I'm
that.
keeping an eye on that. That's my goal, is just stay ahead of him.
Well, it'll buy us a couple of seconds to catch our breath if you do. No doubt about that. Oh, dear. Now, I'm getting an update from the Socceroos, 0-0 against Bangladesh in the 9th minute of play. Still 6-0 State of Origin, New South Wales over Queensland. Anyone want to comment on what we saw last night? Or should I do it for everybody else? That was phenomenal. There's David Baz's incident earlier in the race. And is that actually, that's a second incident. That is a second incident for David Baz. So, yeah, he'll be happy to see the back of this race. Have a look at it now. Lutzwait and Barker. Now, once again, that lazy so-and-so that's supposed to be on the flagpole has slacked off and has taken the night off. Actually, it might be a visa issue. It might be a passport issue. He might not be allowed into Canada. I'm not sure.
No, he's here. He's in the pit lane.
But no, yeah, Barney's on the pit road waving the flag where nobody can see him. Extraordinary.
I don't even think he has a flag in hand. It's his day off, apparently.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at it.
Just doing sweet FA, as per usual. You have one job, mate. One. It's not that flaming hard. Last lap. White flag in the air. Virtually. And I mean that in every sense of the word, because you can't even actually see it on the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Figuratively. Oh! Round goes. I think it might have been Brett Bradbury. Yeah, let's just have a look at it. There we go. Bradbury with that distinct tribute to Benetton from back in the day, and very nicely controlled. Oh no, actually he didn't get it turned around on the 180. He had to 3-point turn it, unfortunately. In the meantime, there is Jackson Rayhana in complete control of this championship at the moment. Summit Sim Sport back on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and back on top of the summit, if you'll pardon the very much intended pun, as Rayhana goes into the final sector of the final lap of race 1 of 2 for the night. 27 seconds left on the clock. The run down the back straight for the final time. Rayhana's going to win this one in a canter. What's going to be interesting is what the weather does between now and the start of race 2, because there's always a little bit of a movement in the clock between race 1 and race 2. So let's see just how much of a time lapse there is and what the weather does as a result. Last turn, checkered flag, clinical from Rayhana. Too good in Canada despite a couple of trip-ups at the hairpin. Rayhana wins race 1 of round 8. Barker in for second, Lutzwait third, then Christensen, Lavis, Haynes, Schmidtke, Baldwin and Nomanson. Heaney was 10th. But he's half a lap away from finishing, so we've got a while to wait here. Now the showmanship can start from Jackson Rayhana. And if you don't mind, the Queenslanders have found their way in McDonald Jones Stadium. They've got themselves across the line to make it 6-4 in Women's Origin with the kick to come. Remembering Queensland need to win that game to force a decider in the Women's Series. It is all happening here on a Thursday night. Great effort, Jackson Rayhana. Chapo, what's the plan of attack for you in race 2, please?
Mate, don't crash would probably be a good plan. I've just got to try and see if I can get past this fella on the casino straight. Stop, but I'm not sure if I can. I can't really even see him because I've still got the bloody big halo thing right in front of me, so I can barely actually see him. And I actually don't think I'm going to get him. I did get enough out of that back corner, so doesn't quite pull like the V's do with the arrow. But shit, sorry.
Chapo.
Jesus Christ. That was a bit close.
Just a little bit.
But anyway, there you go. He held on to it. So yeah, no, we'll just try and keep it out of the wall this time. Easier said than done around here at the best of times, but my
that
God.
that was Scott Jordanson, of course. It's important to note that you were trying to get by there, albeit unluckily. Queensland had the conversion attempt and missed it. It was unsuccessful. So 6-4 New South Wales, 14 minutes to play. Rayhana, Luthwaite, Lavis, Leach, Welch, Baz, Barker, Christensen, Haynes and Baldwin. Wow. An interesting opening race, no doubt about that. There are the results back up on your screen, actually. I was reading the warm-up totem poll, not the race results, ladies and gentlemen. Ignore me for a moment. Rayhana, Barker, 3.099, then back to Luthwaite, Christensen, Lavis, Haynes, Schmidtke, then Baldwin, Nomanson, and also, of course, Greg Heaney, the top 10. Heaney having a much better run than what he did in Spreyton side of Formula V. This is Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Open wheel night here. And, well, we've had 4 very entertaining races thus far, and we've had 4 different winners too, ladies and gentlemen. Invert top 10 coming up here, and it looks as though the track is drying out. Once we get through this 3 minutes, we'll let you know what the circuit and track conditions are like for race 2. But at the moment, it's going to be a bit of a 50-50 gamble from the drivers here, if conditions stay as they are, as to whether you start on dries or whether you go to wets. Because whether you stay on wets or whether you start on dries. Because as you can see there, as far as the warm-up conditions are concerned, there are still some small wet patches on the circuit. Oh boy, tyre selection is going to be a huge talking point here, boys.
Sure is. I'm about to do a couple of laps on dries and see if you can get around the circuit. Yeah, I think you just have to keep an eye out for puddles. It is so dry in most of the tracks, so but I'm sure there'll be little patches that are going to kill you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're riding on board with you at the moment, Chapo. So let's go for a little bit of a ride here and enjoy Chapo hard at work. And there are, as you can see, there are a couple of wet patches still on the racetrack, but it is slowly but surely drying up, which will work beautifully for those that don't like the wet necessarily.
Yeah, it's looking probably dry at this point. I think if I was picking a tyre now, it would probably be dries, but you'd have to still just be careful like there. Just very careful.
It'll be the apexes of corners.
Yeah, those apexes, just particularly those banked apexes, are a big problem around here, like those chicanes. But now that the exits are mostly clear, it is probably dry, as exits are really that difficult point where you can spin it again. Outside of that, but you can sort of drive around the puddles otherwise.
Let's remind everybody as well, once we're done here, next week off to Road America, and then that will be for a 60-minute race, and then on to the circuit, better known as Belle Isle, the Detroit, the old home of the Detroit Grand Prix, the Belle Isle circuit in Michigan. So looking forward to that. In 2 weeks' time, that'll be for super sprint racing. 3 races on the program that night, so 6 races across the night for you. And of course, these 2 races tonight and just the 1 60-minute affair next week. Clock has updated. Dry conditions now. 12:40 in the afternoon, so it's looking much better for dry weather racing here. So that seems to be the way that most of these guys will go. 12:40 in the afternoon, 31 km/h winds. That's picked up. 19 degrees the ambient, 34 on track. That's the big telling point.
Radar not entirely clear though as well, Zach. So there is actually a chance. It's probably right at the end of the race that there is more rain. I'd say it's relatively unlikely, but there's definitely a chance.
All right. Actually, did you notice that as well? Daniel Corriasari managed to get both pronunciations of the word in there, chance and chance. He did well.
That's because I live in New South Wales now and I'm from Adelaide. That's why I get them both.
Very nicely done. All right, set the fire. Good luck, Chapo. Let's go. Race 2 inside of Thursday Night Motorsport. The Super Formula Lights from Montreal in Canada. Great start, Kurt Nyman who holds on the outside to hold off Greg Heaney at turn 1. Heaney fights back on the inside. There goes Aiden. Loose weights! And any late aspirations for the championship may have gone with it. Jamie Welch caught up as well. Wasn't the only one there. So too Brett Bradbury and Scott Jordanson. Off goes Kurt Nyman on the outside at turn 4. Oh boy. It's on early here. The carnage. It's followed them from Formula V into Super Formula. John Ball with a nice jump. Up on his outside. He's under all sorts of pressure, though, from Adam Lavis and Oscar Haynes. They've both gone by. And Brett Barker's pushing his way through as well.
He's brave. Brett Barker's so brave. He was running in the water just to try and get out of the side. I don't know why he'd willingly do that, but in any case, it's working.
And Baldwin was doing the same thing. He kicked up a little bit of splash as well.
Oh,
big one from Ray Harner. Jeez. Did well to put it up. New South Wales have responded. Queensland now trailing by 6. It's 10-4. Conversion attempt unsuccessful. A goal kicker went A over T. So trying to kick the ball to goal. That explains how wet and miserable it is in Newcastle tonight, but it's in front of a sellout crowd. So well done to the Novocastrians for braving it down there. New South Wales lead Queensland 10-4. Matt Schmidtke off the road. And Adam Lavis and John Baldwin compromised on the exit of that. Oh, wow.
Harner's laughing, though.
Jeez. Yeah, Ray Harner's loving it. And poor old David Baz just walled someone on the way through. Might have been Guy Leach.
Oh, boy.
Hold your breath, folks. This is far from over. Oscar Haynes leads Greg Heaney. Brett Barker is 3rd. Jackson Ray Harner is 4th. David Christensen is 5th. Here's Adam Lavis. Oh, Guy Leach up on his outside, got through. So it was actually Paul Wilson that was compromised by David Baz. Let's just pick this apart again. Watch Jackson Ray Harner here. How's this for evasive action? And around the outside of everybody. Thanks for coming. And then further beyond that, have a look at the wall-to-wall action that was going on as well. And Queensland trying to fight their way back into the game, remembering that if they can lock it up at 10-all, we'll go to Golden Point.
Oh! Went on the apex too hard.
Greg Heaney. Oh. Now look at Brett Barker. Look at Brett Barker. Fastest lap of the race in race 1, I'm pretty sure, still went to Brett Barker. There he goes, down the inside. We'll get by Greg Heaney. Oscar Haynes is there as well.
Now, he's done the safe move there. That's very, very smart from Brett, because he knew that holding that tight of a line would not be good, especially considering some of the wet parts on the entry and exit to the corners.
Look at that. Straight up on the exit, into the slipstream, pulls out of the draft, goes for it, gets down the inside, goes to 2nd.
Fastest lap as
Oscar
well.
Haynes still holding the lead, but as we saw in GT3 the other night, I don't know if you saw it, Dan, but you don't want to let Oscar Haynes get out to a lead, because he absolutely smashed the competition the other night, pulled the pants down, made him look silly. Won by 8 seconds at Road Atlanta, which was extraordinary. I mean, yes, it was an invert race. Yes, he had to make the most of the situation, but by gee. To win by that sort of margin, Brett Barker will be hoping to avoid a repeat of that tonight. So too Jackson Ray Harner. They'll want to go with him here. Ray Harner's only 1.1 away from the chasing pack. David Baz is 1.1 behind him. Greg Heaney has only got 1 second on Ray Harner at the moment. So it's all happening. 4 minutes gone. We're right on board with Sam Chapman. Queensland across the line at McDonald Jones. So it's now 10-8. With a kick to come that could make it 10-all, which could force either a drop goal shootout, a field goal shootout, or extra time, one or the other. There's still just on 7 minutes to play there in the Hunter Valley. We'll keep across that. Live updates coming in all night, and then as soon as we're done there, I'll give you live updates from the AFL. We'll keep abreast of the Socceroos as well. We're not done here just yet. We're riding with Sam Chapman, chasing John Baldwin. He's got Paul Wilson, Mark Gomez, and also Jamie Welch in behind him. Just looking down the order, Aiden Luthwaite, a retirement from this race. He didn't get back out on the racetrack. Queensland have kicked the goal. It's 10 all. There goes Sam Chapman up on the outside, gets by John Baldwin. Very nicely done. We are down to 18 in this field. David Christensen's the last of those. Kurt Nomans and Matt Schmidtke also compromised on the opening lap. Brett Bradbury down 5 spots. John Baldwin down 6. So they're all the losers out of this. Aiden Luthwaite a retirement, and that would just about spell the end of his championship push, I would suggest, knowing that he didn't have any drop round points up his sleeve at his disposal there. So that is curtains, unfortunately, for Aiden Luthwaite. It's not mathematically wrapped up yet by Jackson Rayhana, but he'll go a long way to doing that tonight.
Oh, Adam Lavis is taking too many risks. He's hitting the apex like you would on a dry track, and it's causing the rear of his car to slide out. That's going to allow Guy Leach to get a decent gap on him now. He's got to remember that you don't take them like that. Too high of a risk, and it slows you down. But to be fair, Guy Leach also just took them the same, so I don't think these guys are paying too much attention there. As
oh no!
That's Heaney.
That is Greg Heaney throwing away second spot. Through goes Rayhana, through goes Haynes, through goes Baz. And what's happened to Oscar Haynes, more to the point, because Brett Barker's gone by everybody and leads this by 3.3. Lavis, Rayhana,
down the middle.
Haynes and Baz are about to swamp on Rayhana.
He's going in the... Well, Haynes is in the pits.
Oscar Haynes for an early pit stop. Rayhana and Baz are going to go a little bit longer here. We're at the end of lap 4. We're 6.5 minutes into the thing. Brett Barker's got the times down to a 1 minute 33.01.
Oh, David
to the inside. What about that for a move on Jackson Rayhana?
Just about to say, David Baz, we know him, he's very aggressive, but sometimes it really pays off, and that's one of the moments. Wow, he had so much faith in the braking potential of that car going into turn 2, and it rewarded him well. So now Jackson's going to have to get back on that right pedal and see if he can catch him up. But yeah, as you said, Zach, 3.9 down the road. Brett Barker, you're right, he's found his tune. My Lord, 33.02 on the last one. He's flying.
Yep. Brett Barker, David Baz, Jackson Rayhana, 1, 2, and 3 at the moment. Barker's out to a 3.6 second advantage, and it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Jamie Welch. All over the back of John Baldwin and Mark Gomez. Oh! Wheel rubbing against concrete there, I reckon. There was nothing in that. He had nowhere to go. It was either commit to the outside or lift.
He lived.
Win it or bin it. He binned it.
Man who lived.
Yeah. Oh, geez. He risked spinning it, I should say. So there you go. I mean, that was so close. So hairy. But it's all right when you get away with it. 10-all Women's State of Origin, 66 minutes gone. They're on the inside. Jamie Welch did well here. Have a look at this. Well, did well not to get the back wheel, firstly, of John Baldwin. Then secondly, he is rubbing the wall. He had to have been rubbing the wall. He's not there, but I reckon there was at least one scrape of the wall. Nothing in that. Really good stuff. Oscar Haynes is retired as well, folks. So a twitchy foot now down a stablemate as well as Whiskey Business. So Luthwaite and Haynes, 2 of the standout performers this season on our platforms, are out of business for the night. Question I've got, Daniel, is this the lead of Brett Barker's 3.23 seconds over David Baz, who's got 1 second on Jackson Rayhana? Is that going to be good enough for these gentlemen? Is that going to be good enough for Brett Barker to hold on from here?
Well, they'll have to pit, so the pit strategy might come into it. Maybe there's some fuel saving going on. I tend to believe you can't really do that much in a Formula Light, but in any case, so Brett Barker, his goal is I go as fast as possible. which is working. Rayhana did a really good job. You can see there on the timing tower, Brett Barker up 8, David Baz up 14, and Rayhana up 7. Guy Leach up 14 as well, I might add. So they're driving really steadfast at the front there. That's good. Jackson Rayhana sets the fastest lap. This one by 1:32.360. So he's got the pace, but I think it's a good question, Zach. I mean, with just under, I'm just trying to see if I can do the math here. So yeah, it'll come down to pit stops, really. Oh, it was Greg Heaney. Oh, light delivered there, catches it. Well done, actually. Yeah, I think Brett might have it because David Baz won't give up P2 without a fight, so they're inevitably going to tussle. So yeah, if Brett can keep it clean, I think it's enough.
Oh boy.
Tyres too, let's think about that. Maybe, because I don't think people will switch tyres here. So if Jackson massages his tyres a little bit better, then maybe the race will come back to him in the later half.
Oh, field goal Queensland. Field goal Queensland, 69th minute of play. And the Maroons hold sway in the Hunter Valley, 11 points to 10. What a storyline that is. Inspired, no doubt, by the men's success of last night. Queensland with the point advantage with 1 minute and 42 seconds to play. Could force a decider in women's state of origin. Oh boy, what about that? 14 minutes to play here as well on the platforms of the GSRC across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. It's always fun on a Thursday night when you got something to keep an eye on right of screen. Have a look at that. Paul Wilson relegated. John Baldwin down on the inside. Greg Heaney's in there as well. Three-way fight for 9th at this point. Top 16 yet to stop. Scott Jordanson on pit lane. Has been for about 35 seconds though. And Joe Baldwin's just pointed out via Jody's account on the old YouTube channel that Jackson doesn't necessarily need to win this one, but if he does, it certainly does dig another nail into the coffin of Aiden Luthwaite's chances here. Greg Heaney running on board with him now. We are live. Final 13 minutes of this race. Whoa! Paul Wilson with the save of the night. But it's going to cost him a position here. Down the outside goes Greg Heaney to position number 10. Can Wilson get him back on the inside? No. Heaney cuts across, covers it off. There goes Matt Schmidtke coming up as well. Half a minute left in the women's origin. Queensland by a point. Keep an eye on that. In the meantime, we ride on board with Jamie Welch. Welch going for it. Down the inside to go to 7th with the pass on Mark Gomez. Sam Chapman's off the road. Sam Chapman is off the road just ahead of these blokes. Chapman's off the road. Pulled up exit stage left. What on earth has happened there to Sam Chapman? He'll be on the toe right. No, he'll be limping it to pit lane. Now what has happened here? This is almightily bizarre. Oh, he's had a packet loss. Oh, he's had a network
disconnect.
issue.
Yeah, it went.
Well, the way that's just snapped right left on him. That is unfortunate for Chapo. Won't be able to hide his angst with that. He's just dying. Queensland are home, 11 points to 10 over New South Wales in women's state of origin, and a decider incoming in 3 weeks' time, which actually works nicely for me because it'll be week 1 of the holidays, week 1 of the GSRC break. We've got a 2-week break coming up after the grand finale, which will be this time in 2 weeks, the 20th of June and the 27th of June, that state of origin finale for the women in Townsville, New South Wales and Queensland. And Queensland will go there, having locked the series up at 1-1 with a field goal. Unbelievable. A field goal, the difference in that game, considering that it was 6-0 for much of the night. The points really started getting racked up in the closing 20 minutes of the match. Well done there to Queensland, 11-10 over New South Wales women's state of origin. In the meantime, Joe Baldwin pointing out that David Baz, correct, mate, is the only car on the moment at 31 right now.
Guy Leach just did it as well.
Although Rayhana and Leach are now chasing, but
yep.
none of them are yet. None of them has stopped yet. So there's still so much to play out.
See, David Baz. So just watching his times around here, David Baz has found some serious speed, and I can categorise this as thus. Brett Barker's top speed is 238. Jackson Rayhana's top speed is 237. Guy Leach's top speed is 238. David Baz, 246. So he has found something. He has found a line around here, and now they're obviously achieving those speeds on the Casino Straight. So whatever it is, it's working for David Baz. But the question is, will he be as fast coming out of the pits as he is coming up to that window? We can see Jamie Welsh just dropping down a couple of positions because he has unfortunately crashed. We will cut over to that and see exactly what happened. Here we go, coming into the middle of the circuit, and yep, that's the wet puddle on the apex there. So unfortunately, luckily he keeps it out of the wall. No, he doesn't. That sound effect. Oh, David, and it's the aggression.
Clouted the wall of champions.
It's the aggression. He drives so hard and so fast. Unfortunately, that wall bit him. That is why it has its. That's why it's infamous. Oh, now it's affecting the car.
Yeah, that's the end of the road
I think he's got damage.
for David Baz. I reckon he's going to have to bring it to pit lane this time by. Jackson Rayhana should be able to close in and overtake him this time by if that car is as badly damaged as we seem to think it might be. There's an Adelaide Crow down on the ground at the Adelaide Oval at the moment, 50,000 watching on, hoping he'll get to his feet. Adelaide Trail at the moment, Richmond up 10.6, 66 to 7.8. 50 in the AFL, just to update you on that as well, ladies and gentlemen. So a lot to report on a Thursday night. Brett Barker's the leader here. We're on lap 11. We're 16.5 minutes into the race. We've got another 8 minutes to go, 8.5 minutes to go. So when they cross the line this time by, as Richmond kick another goal to boot out to a 22-point lead, this time by the line plus a pit stop. Oh, geez, what are we saying? 5 laps will be about 7.5 minutes, so I reckon we've got 6 laps to go, plus the slash and dash at the line. I reckon we'll get 5. Oh, sorry, 6. 6 laps. Remembering that we can go, we can start that last lap with only mere seconds on the clock. So 6 laps to go is my best guess there. And Brett Barker is on lap 12 right now. So we're, looks like we're aiming for about 17, which will almost be twice the distance of race 1, considering that we only got 9 laps there by virtue of the wet weather. Rayhana now goes to second. We're watching the battle for 7th. Greg Heaney's just got by John Baldwin and Matt Schmidtke. Jamie Welch in 10th place. We're riding with Matt Schmidtke up the outside of John Baldwin, which will put him on the inside for turn 1, but the outside for turn 2. Schmidtke down the inside. Can't get it done. Baldwin holds on. How many times do you see it here? That textbook bit of racecraft on the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve, look at Jamie Welch wanting a piece of it as well. Down the inside, no. Tucks back in, follows him through. Only real active battle on the racetrack at the moment, folks. Scott Jordanson's been on pit lane for 7.5 minutes. Sam Chapman back out there after a bit of a packet loss issue. But he's half a lap down on the leaders. Brett Bradbury is the last of the runners at the moment. All cars remain on the lead lap. Chapman should be right to fuel up and get through to the end now, you would imagine, with that packet loss issue. 3.98 seconds he was stationary for. David Baz to pit lane. First of the leaders to bite the bullet. He zigs, the others zag. Rayhana and Barker and Leak continue on. Jamie Welch in trouble again. 1:31.087 for Guy Leach as well. Fastest lap of the race right now. Fastest lap of the night. And it's not quite bone dry in Canada. See a little bit of spray still being kicked up there, despite the track conditions warming up significantly. In comes Greg Heaney. He gets out of that garbage. We're with Brett Barker right now. What a performance this has been from the AHR media entry. Hey? Finally with some clear air. The challenge will be keeping Jackson Rayhana at bay, but he's doing a pretty good job of that at the moment. Rayhana's not taking massive chunks out of his lap times here. Last time around, Rayhana was actually slower. But with only 6 laps to go, plus the splash and dash, as I say, actually, no, it won't even be 6 laps to go. My apologies. It'll be 4. 4 laps to go at the line. Although that being said, looking at this right here, as we cross the line at the end of lap 13, 20, 29, 20, 30. Splash and dash off and racing again. Beautifully done. Yes. It's 4.5 minutes on the clock. So that's going to get us... No. So it'll only be 3 laps from here, not 4. My apologies. So we'll get to 16, not 17. I can't see them... The only reason I can't see them getting 4 out of it is I think they'll be in overtime by the time they get back at the end of lap 16. Barely, but they'll be in overtime. Brett Barker now leads this one, but look at the inroads Jackson Rayhana has made. Guy Leach is there in 3rd place.
All of their
Guy
pit
Leach
times.
now with the fastest lap of the race. David Baz is 4th, Adam Lavis, Mark Gomez, then Sam Chapman up 8 spots. So even though he's had a packet loss, he's actually been a beneficiary of all of this. And Brett Bradbury, yeah, I think Wets might have been a mistake at the pit stop as well, Brett, considering how dry the track is. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Just looking at the pit stop times for everyone ahead, they're all very similar: 4.28, 4.25, 4.28. But Rayhana did a 4.07. I wonder if that 0.2... What? Brett's in again?
Yep. Oh, wow. Brett Barker into the lane again. Now, what's going on here? What's going on here? He's just gifted the race to Jackson Rayhana with 2 laps to go. Oh, boy. I'm astounded by that. That's astonishing. Brett Barker...
What?
He's being... Well, it's a stop and hold. It's a penalty of some description.
Oh, that's
It
what
has
he's
to be.
in the pit lane.
16 seconds he was stationary for. And it's plummeted him down the order to 7th. Oh, way to suck the life out of it.
Yeah, well, okay. That's gifted it to Jackson then. I mean, Guy Leach has been really, really fast. In fact, he is the fastest, sorry, with a 1:31.09 was his fastest time. He also has a top speed of 325. So he could potentially catch him. Oh, is that rain? That's rain.
It is.
But we've only got a lap left.
Well, yeah, we're going to get the white flag in the air this time, and the rain started falling. Are you kidding me? Well, Chapo did say that it was due.
Wait, was it only raining at the hairpin?
It was raining at the hairpin. I don't think it's raining anywhere else, but it was raining at the hairpin.
Yeah, the sky's grey, I suppose.
Last lap.
Oh, jeez.
So we get to 16 laps, actually, in all of that, folks, not 17. White flag in the air one more time around. And I might have only got tripped up by force of habit, because remember, on sprint night, some of these sprints are 16 and 27, and the others are bloody... the others are 15 and 25. There's the rain. Now the rain's arrived.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be sketchy on the way to the line. 2 sectors to go. Rain arriving, and they are big raindrops as well. They're not small raindrops, they're big raindrops. Have a look at them. It's hosing down. And there's the spray as well.
You can hear it. Oh, you can hear it.
This is going to have to be very well controlled from Jackson Rayhana. Some parts of this racetrack are wetter than others. And it's left its mark already. It's hard on the brakes. Oh, jeez. The run to the checkered flag as it rains on Rayhana's night here. Jackson Rayhana is going to spoil the party because we were looking for 5 winners in 5 races. No, Rayhana says, I'm not over the bar of that. I'm not sharing the love with anybody. I'm going to double up. And with that, it will be a championship-defining moment. Rayhana's got one hand on the title. Summit Sim Sport, too good at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve as it promptly hoses down. Guy Leach in for second, David Baz will come home third, Adam Lavis, Mark Gomez, Brett Barker, Sam Chapman, Jamie Welch, and Greg Heaney with Matt Schmidtke making up the top 10. Oh boy.
Just as the rain came down. And I have to admit, there must have been a sound update because I've never heard the rain like that before. That was awesome. Wow, talk about lucky. If that had happened a couple of laps before, that might have actually had a bit of a shake-up, but the temperature in those tyres would have made it easy to handle, even if we saw some. And yeah, he's properly celebrating. He's got to be careful here because race control could still have something to say about it. You know,
absolutely they could. Let's not compromise anybody and smash them up or crunch them up on the wall down lap. Yes. Paul Wilson was 11th, John Baldwin, Kurt Nomanson, Stephen Crittenden, David Christensen, Brett Bradbury, Scott Jordanson and Oscar Haynes rounded it out. Jordanson, unfortunately, a retirement. So too Oscar Haynes. But everybody else, Brett Bradbury also a late retirement. David Christensen only got home 2 laps down, so too Stephen Crittenden. And Nomanson, the last of those to finish on the lead lap. How about that? Good evening to you, Kurt Nomanson, once more. That was tricky because you had the gamble on wets and slicks in the first race and then a dry second race right until the very last lap. Have we got you there, Kurt?
Helps if my mic's turned on.
It does help indeed, mate. Absolutely. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, definitely a rough race. And honestly, I kind of struggled with my own incident with Greg. I tried to give him a bit of room and push myself across a wet curb at the start of race 2, so it's all on me on that one.
Indeed it was, and the recovery though wasn't too bad. I mean, from the rear of the field you still fought your way back, mate, past another 5 cars to get back to 13th. Is that a pass mark or is that a fail?
It was a bit of a pass mark. I'm okay with that. Definitely could have done better if I didn't bin it, but you know, that's racing for you. But I'm happy with tonight. Haven't really done much wet racing in the Super Formula, so I'm very happy with how I did in the first race.
Indeed, as you would be, mate, especially given the dicey conditions. I mean, getting your head around the wet weather servers been hard enough at the best of times, but especially when the track was soaking in qualifying and drying in race 1, and it wasn't completely dry even when we got to the end of race 1. It was starting to go, but there were still wet patches.
Yeah, definitely. I got stuck in that turn 1 incident, so I was carrying steering damage from lap 1, so race 1 was definitely difficult, but persevered and put me at the front of the grid for race 2, which I then went ahead and bottled like a numpty. So
thoughts on what's to come, mate? We go to Road America for 60 minutes next week, and then we go on to the streets of Detroit, so you'll have to have your wits about you there because it's a concrete canyon, but at least Road America, there's runoff area to play with, and it's a 60-minute outing as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for Road America. I love Road America, so we'll see if I can improve there. And I did a little bit of IndyCar at Detroit, so hopefully that helps translate a little bit to this car, and we'll see how we go then.
We're almost at that point of the season now where we start looking towards next season, mate. Obviously, we know that there's new circuits, we know that there's new cars, we know that the wet weather system has been rolled out to new categories as well. Where do you sit with this category here in terms of getting your head around the car and the championship? Is it something you'd like to continue on with, continue to learn, or would you like to dabble in something else next season?
I'll probably persevere and do another season of this. Every lap is an improvement for me, so I mean, I did my fastest ever lap in race 2 by following Sam, so you know, I'll have to just keep persevering and following the quick guys to learn.
Indeed. Speaking of the quick guys, we've got Jackson Ray Hunter, we've got Sam Chapman, we've got Greg Heaney dropping in to have a chat with us here. We will get to them in just a few moments. I didn't get a chance to ask you there earlier. The new circuit that most of us are probably familiar with more so than the other two is the Saxon Ring, mate. How quickly are you going to drop into the iRacing account and pick that one up and start turning some laps there? And what about the Mustang and the Corvette when GT3 comes around?
I've already picked up the Mustang and I've turned a few laps. I actually won a GT3 race earlier today, so I love the Mustang. It's a lot of fun to drive. Did some practice at Watkins as well in it for the 6 hour later this year. And yeah, I love it. I haven't done laps around Sachsenring yet, but that probably won't be far away from me jumping into a car and doing some laps around there.
Very nicely done. I guess with regards to the night that we've had, mate, tricky because you showed promising signs of speed and progress, only for it to come unstuck. But to have Formula V and Super Formula Light on the same circuit, that was a rare bonus and a rare treat.
Yeah, it definitely helped remind me of the track. It's been a while since I've done laps, so there was a few braking points that I'd forgotten where I needed to in the Super Formula. So doing the laps in the V reminded me sort of where I needed to brake for the Super Formula, just looking at the track again and remembering from the official races I did there.
All right, very nicely done, mate. What else is on the agenda for the rest of the week, please?
I'll probably jump into the stock cars tomorrow night, and then all of my focus will be turned towards the Majors 24 on the weekend. So
now on that subject, because we've seen, you know, a lot of people in planning and training for that, and a lot of people talking about it. Of course, iRacing's had a big few weeks with the Nürburgring 24, then the Indy 500, and now this. Which server are you jumping into, and who are you driving with? What are you driving, and just what's the plan of attack with regards to sleeping between stints, and how are you feeling about it in general?
I'm feeling pretty good. The race starts at 11 p.m. on Saturday for us because it's just a hosted.
Yep.
So it's all the splits are running at once. I think we're in the 11th split at the moment, but that could change. We're running the LMP2, and I'm running with the Lame Sheep boys, and it should be a lot of fun. I think we got like 5 or 6 drivers from memory, and all my stints are during the day for me, so that should help not having to sleep between stints.
And how can we follow along with that, please?
I'm actually going to be streaming the entire 24. I'll start it at 11 p.m. and probably go to bed pretty early, so I'll throw the link in here and yeah, stream it and have a bit of fun with the guys, and hopefully we can at least place in the top 10. We have the pace. One of our drivers is extremely quick, and I'm always improving every lap. I think my optimal dropped about 3 seconds in the pre-qualifying session.
All right, very nicely done. We're looking forward to hearing back from you on Monday night. Come back and let us know how that goes for you.
Yeah, definitely will. I'll definitely be back after the GT3s to see how that went.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Thank you for that. Have a good weekend. Go well.
Thank you.
Greg Heaney, welcome. Disappointment for Rd-8. What happened there, please?
I'm not entirely sure because it was behind me, and then I think he's just put it away. So,
Copy that. Disappointment though, because I mean, really, championship, as you said last week, was always going to be a long shot, but that won't do his confidence any good.
no, but I mean, I'm not sure if it was fatigue or what the case may have been tonight. But yeah, no, he had a car contact penalty through race 1, which I think might have put him off a little bit, and then race 2 didn't catch exactly what happened at the start, and yeah, I think he's just damaged the car or something, so he just put it away.
Indeed. Now, as for your own night, let's start with Formula V, because that, mate, really, that looked as though, to coin a phrase from someone that was performing just down the road here in Ipswich last night, Kevin Bloody Wilson, it appeared to be over before it began.
Yeah, no, it was, I think I was about almost 3.2 seconds off pace through practice and quali. I'm like, I'll try. And then it was just I'm just putting this away, go and get some laps in around Villeneuve in the Super Formula for tonight. So.
Indeed. A progress update before we go to Super Formula and talk about that from the AFL. Richmond 12.779 leads Adelaide 9.963. You might recall actually last Monday night, not the one just gone, the one before it, the day after the Indy 500, or the day of here in Australia at least. I had to go and MC a rugby league presentation evening for the Ipswich Jets for their junior grades, and the head honcho of the Jets there gets up. I had to introduce him on stage. We had one of our elders come up and do the whole welcome to country thing at the start, and I said, "Oh, very poignant timing with that, given that we had multicultural around in the AFL and the NRL." And old Jono looks at me and says, "Do you like your job here, Zach?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He said, "Good. Never mention AFL again, then, and we'll keep it." So it goes to show that we're not exactly an AFL town in this part, by the sounds of it. So AFL at the moment on the back of Queensland winning Women's State of Origin 11-10 earlier. I'll chase an update from the Socceroos before we get off air as well. Their World Cup qualifier. If you want to watch that, it's on Paramount Plus. Greg, let's talk about Super Formula Light, please. Unfortunately, you had the opportunity, having started from pole in race 2 here, with the invert top 10 situation. You had the opportunity with the clear track in front of you to try and capitalise, and unfortunately it came unstuck very early. You ended up finishing 9th. Talk us through the night that was, please.
Oh, look, I mean, yeah, starting on pole here, and had I not muffed a braking marker, or I think it was that, then I pinched a rear or whatever it was, it was just going to be a matter of when would Jackson catch me, kind of like having Matty Dench chase you down in a GT3. Been there, done that.
Yep.
And I'm getting reminders from my crew chief, and it's like, I think at this point Jackson was behind me. It's like, he's faster than you in Sector 1, Sector 2. It's like, I know, shut up. It's like he's faster than me around the entire track. It's just a gentle reminder there in the ear.
Yep.
But no, look, I had a great night tonight. Happy with 2 top 10 finishes. Had some good racing with the guys, particularly Paul Wilson and John Baldwin. I think I probably scared the crap out of John twice. But no, it was a good night for me in regards to that. So.
All right, nicely done. Mark Gomez just pointing out, good fun, guys. Yes, it certainly was. He didn't expect to finish P4, but he certainly did. He had a great run through in that previous race. It might have been, I've got P5 on my timing screen, so unless someone picked up a post-race penalty or something. But no, great result for Mark, up 14 spots. As for you, Greg, how are you finding the learning experience with these cars? And also, how'd you find the challenge of those changing conditions? Because it was a zigzag sort of situation there in race 1, and clearly anyone that went with the slick rubber paid the price in the early stages, and it was very clear from about turn 3 that it was going to be wet tyres all the way through in that opening race. Yes, it was dry above, but the track was nowhere near it.
I mean, Aiden and myself both took wets through race one, and we were discussing it on comms. It's like about 5 minutes to go. It's like you probably could risk it, but it wouldn't be worth it at that point. And then come race two, it was just straight out slicks from the go. We knew there was rain coming. It was just going to be a matter of when it turned up. I think we had about 2 laps to go when it was really starting to come down. I think the last lap was actually coming down enough you could actually hear it through the helmet on the sim. But yeah, I mean, it's the learning curve in these things. It's not too bad. I mean, I've done enough laps in it now that I'm getting used to it now. It's just a matter of pushing it just that little bit more to find the actual limit of adhesion and where you can and can't push the envelope, so to speak.
Indeed, and obviously just a little bit hairy on the last lap there with the rain coming back in the dry setup.
No, it wasn't for me. I didn't find it too bad because I'd already adjusted to just toy with the brake bias, roll it backwards a little bit to mitigate the potential of locking the front brakes up, and just brake. I was just braking just a touch earlier to be able to get it slowed without sending it too fast through the corner and sending myself into a concrete wall.
Indeed. What are your thoughts on Ride America next week, please?
Sign me up.
No. Excellent. Will you come to Sebring first and have a crack in the Formula V?
I will see how I go because we actually managed to get a house this week, so we'll be I'll be in the middle of packing and everything like that. So I should be able to make both, but we'll see how we go. If I can't make the V's, I'll definitely be there for the SFL. So.
Indeed. Hey, just very quickly as well, obviously the Saxon, so we didn't get anything really we were talking about Australia getting some love from iRacing earlier in the week. It hasn't come to fruition, but obviously Mustang and Corvette's going to be, on everybody's mind with GT3. What did you make of the Saxon Ring joining the server as well?
Saxon Ring, I haven't yet turned a lap. But I've already picked it up, and I picked up the Mustang, and I picked up the Corvette. I think I spent about 2 hours yesterday in the Corvette. I haven't driven the Mustang yet. I don't know if I will, but I've got it anyway. If I decide to jump ship from GM to Ford, I'll probably end up driving that, but I'll be driving the Corvette for sure next season.
Cannot wait. It's gonna. I just sense that it's going to be Corvette v Mustang on a Monday night all the way. You'll get a couple of the others, but I feel as though Corvette v Mustang on a Monday night is where it's going to be at on Waste Options GT3, and of course we'll have Holden v Ford before it with the supercars. Should that championship continue in the entree slot on a Monday night? Committee have got some interesting decisions and discussions to be had, and decisions ahead of them coming into the next term, there's no doubt. Hey, just quickly, the rest of the stable, where were they tonight, please? It was just you and Aiden out there, I do believe.
Well, Fred was there for the V's. He couldn't make it tonight for this one. I dare say Jackson could possibly still be under the weather. I think that's all we've got in the open wheelers. We haven't managed to snaffle up Matt Schmidtke yet to run with us. Not in this one, but we've got him in the GT3s. But Andrew Neal was, I think he was getting some practice in for Monday night. So, because he hasn't, I think up until tonight, I don't think he'd actually turned a lap around Algarve. So he's got to brush up on that one a little bit, but. Yeah, that was about it, really.
All right, very nicely done. The official Le Mans 24 this weekend, the majors. Are you signing up? Have you got a team running?
No, unfortunately, we're not doing that one. And I'm unfortunately going to miss the next round of the GSRC Enduro, which is next weekend, due to moving house. But,
yep.
Yeah, so I know Jackson and Aiden are going to be there with bells on. They're absolutely frothing at the mouth to try and get the podium for that one. So we're going to get Andrew in the car as well with them to have a good crack at that. Brad's got other things on, and I've got obviously moving house.
So it's busy left, right, and centre for your stable.
Very much
all right, mate. Very nicely done. Good catch up with you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. We'll let you go.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
And good luck with the move as well. Sam Chapman's here. Jackson Ray Harness here. Chapo, you couldn't have got luckier with the timing of that packet loss because you still managed to limp it into pit lane, get a splash and dash, and get out and finish 7th.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't packet loss. It wasn't packet loss. My wheel disconnected.
Well, that'll do it. I mean, we're a little bit confused because we just saw the car go hard right, hard left, and then we saw a couple of blinks and flashes, so we weren't sure what the hell was going on, quite frankly.
Yeah, weather's garbage in Sydney at the moment, so and my internet's bad at the best of times, so like I'm not surprised there were some blinks and flashes. But yeah, no, so my wheels have this great thing recently where it just sort of disconnects and goes in a straight line. But if you restart it, it'll go back again, which is where you would have seen me go hard right when I actually turned it off and turned it back on again. Yep. So yeah, trundled into pit lane and had to sort of tried to make my way back from there. It was just once it dried out a bit, like that sort of after lap 1 where I got sort of swallowed up at a great pace, so it was it was good. Just be good if I had a few less tech issues going on.
Indeed. Apart from that, mate, what else did you make of the night that was? Race 1 didn't look too crash hot, but you certainly redeemed it in race 2.
Yeah, like these in the wet, these really snap. So that's sort of what happened in race 1. And yeah, I was really happy with race 2. I quite like these sort of drying conditions because you've still got to be, quick, but you're really still feeling out the track a little bit. But you can start really pushing through that rain and just really catching those slides and making a lot of pace. And even if you're a few seconds behind, sometimes you can do okay. Real pity, I was looking at 4th, but I didn't, after I've gone and told you, it looks like there might be rain towards the end of the race, I didn't see any rain from my perspective. So I've gone, out of the last corner, trying to take that position, given it the beans and looped it and lost those 2 positions. So, so I could, then it wasn't until I got into the broadcast, you're like, raining at the end of the race, went, oh, okay, that's just what did it. Anyway, no, it was good out there. Like it was a lot of fun. I'm really liking. I think we should actually look at trying to do the same racetrack for each series a little bit more often, because it does make it so much more accessible for each side of the pond just to jump in, because they do already have a good feel for the track. Very different car, but at least a good feel for the track. And I found that with TCR and GT4 last night as well, that you just sort of, because you already know roughly the lines, it's obviously different, but roughly it's a lot easier. So it would be good to do that a little bit going forward.
Indeed it would be. Indeed it would be. I mean, it's obviously not going to happen the next 2 weeks, but certainly, hopefully, a bit more communication and symmetry between category organisers for next season. Have you had any discussions with regards to the next season and what that might look like, Chubbo?
There have been some discussions. We could have a fight on our hands, Zach. But yeah, there've been some early discussions. I don't think there'll be a huge amount of change. There's potential for an old, a favourite to come back.
Okay.
And then there'll be shuffling depending on. Actually, I'm not sure what happened with the supercars in the end, whether that new grade supercars comes out and that sort of thing too. So there's a little bit in the works there.
Actually, but
they didn't.
Okay. No.
Yeah, okay. So I think they're having a few issues with them. So there'll be a little bit of change, but I think there'll be a relative amount of continuation too.
Given the announcement that iRacing's going to bring in the wet weather treatment for GT4 and the Porsche Cup cars, I mean, I can understand why. There'll be discussions being had, and of course the other one that was an old favourite for us here, and now that it's back on official terms with iRacing, is IndyCar. So I mean, whether or not we'll see IndyCar in an open wheel format as well. So there's certainly potential there. I guess the other thing too is if it's not broken, don't fix it. The Formula V fields have been coming on in earnest in recent times, so I'm happy to leave Formula V as they are, just quietly. Thank you very much. Now on the subject, Chapo, thoughts on Road America, please?
Yeah, Road America is a good track. I like Road America. I don't have too many people going up against it. I reckon it'd be quite good in these too. Like, obviously you've got the slipstream down those big straights, so you have a lot of side by side. Yeah, I think that'll be good fun.
All right. Now, the other thing I was going to say too was next week. How lucky are we? Montreal this week, Canadian Grand Prix Monday morning, Road America next week, and the IndyCar race at Road America is actually this coming Monday morning as well. So some nice real-world symmetry there as well in terms of how the calendars align.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it probably comes back to the because the officials for the SFLs largely align with this too. So I think the iRacing would have put that in place because of the Grand Prix coming up, put a few downforce cars in this week. So no, it's good. It gives you certainly have a good idea of the track when you see them out there, and you've actually driven it in a vehicle and go, oh, okay, they've got to be careful there, and oh, that's a pretty dangerous turn. You can be a bit of an armchair commentator.
Indeed. All right, mate. Thank you for that. Have a good weekend, eh?
Thanks, mate. You too.
I'll do my best. I'll do my very best. Well, it's supposed to be good, but I was supposed to be doing a trip to the airport tomorrow to pick up a friend, and her flight's just been cancelled. Just literally as we're on air here, I've just got that message come through. So there's there'll be a bit of contingency unfolding as soon as I get off air, let me tell you. Hey, there he is, Sam Chapman. We've had Kurt Nomenson. Let's hear from Jackson Rayhana, the double race winner tonight. Very nicely done from you, my friend. Hey, everybody, like everybody else, was sharing the love in Formula V. We had 3 different race winners. You weren't having any of that crap when we got to Super Formula Light, though. Good pressure from Brett Barker and Guy Leach, and also, I guess, as well, Aidan Luthwaite in race 1. You had to work hard for that one in dicey and tricky conditions. But race 2, the seas kind of parted nicely for you.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Yeah, no, look, it was good fun night tonight. I looked, obviously, this afternoon, knew it was going to be wet, so did a fair bit of wet practice, and Jamie Welch and myself did a fair bit of wet practice, and yeah, got ourselves tuned up. Wasn't as wet as probably what we were hoping for, but yeah, no, the conditions definitely made it interesting. It was always changing, so it's not the best condition to be in when you're leading, because you're always the person who's I guess you're the adventure. I can never come up with the word here. You're a pioneer. You're the pioneer.
Yeah. You're the guinea pig. Yeah.
Yeah, you're always the guinea pig. So you're always the person who gets to that particular part of the track first. Guy behind you, if you know, he's always watching, going, you know, has he got grip here? Has he got no grip there? All right, cool. I know what to do for the next lap. Where you're just guessing most of the time. So yeah, that was my position most of the night. But yeah, the second race was fun. Just, you know, sort of sat back and put myself in the position to be in it for the fight at the end, and yeah, really unfortunate what happened with Brett there. I was looking forward to the fight there. I closed up the gap to less than a second with a few laps to go, so it would have been good, but anyway, I'll take the win.
I think the other thing that some of us might have been surprised by there at any point, Jackson, was just how quickly, or just how slowly rather, the track dried out. It seemed to take an eternity for it to dry out. We could see as we joined the server in the closing stages of qualifying that the rain had stopped falling, but it seemed the dampness on the circuit seemed to hang around for quite a while.
Yeah, the track was never 100% dry, especially on the apexes. I know you would have seen a few guys tonight having loops on the apex of a lot of corners. Just the curbs were still very, very wet. So yeah, you had to sort of do your best to stay off them. You could run the risk of going over the top of them if you wanted to, but yeah, it's almost best just to stay off them. It's not worth the extra couple of tenths if you're facing the wrong way 10 metres down the road. So yeah, no, it's just trying to play it safe in that second race there, and yeah, it paid off in the end.
Indeed it did. And and it was clear that some drivers may not necessarily have done their research before they jumped onto the grid. It seems as though a few had taken slicks instead of wets there for race one, and that gamble backfired majorly very quickly.
Yeah, it was definitely coin toss. I mean, I obviously looking at the track and sort of understanding where the wet patches were, and I just thought me in the championship position too. Just take the wets. If I get it wrong, you know, you're on the safer tyre at least, so you can just pit and get, you know, slicks if it's that much quicker. But even if, you know, I thought it was a little bit quicker, I didn't think it'd be huge. And then plus the race is only 15 minutes long, so it's not really enough time to, I guess, make it so that there's going to be enough of a difference. So yeah, heavily relied on that intuition, and again, thankfully it paid off in the end.
Indeed. From your standpoint, as far as your stable's concerned, rough night for Jamie Welch. Didn't go to plan in race one, but at least he fought back well into the top 10 in race two there, mate.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, he's unfortunately he's been battered around the post a fair bit, the poor bloke. But yeah, no, he's been driving really well. You know, and like all our practice sessions and such, he's been, you know, just as quick as I have. So he's definitely due for a result soon. If he's around next week, it may come for him. Unfortunately, I won't be here next week. I've got work commitments I cannot get away from. So yeah, that'll be definitely his night to shine if he can. But yeah, no, it's a longer race next week, so definitely suits him a little bit more. I think he'll you know, find more time to settle into a rhythm, just trust his pace, and he'll definitely, I think he's got the pace on a lot of these guys.
All right, indeed. Thoughts on what's ahead, mate? I mean, the fact that Aidan Luthwaite retired in the second race gives you a bit more of a leg up in this championship fight. I mean, are you starting to dot the I's and cross the T's here and prepare to put the icing on the cake, or are you not wanting to think about that number one just yet?
We'll see. Like, I think with next week, if he has a really, really good, you know, race next week, it's big points because it's an endurance round. So, you know, it could make the last round a little bit more interesting. I think we've still got enough of a buffer going into the last round so that I can sort of just let my hair back and enjoy it, hopefully. But we'll see. I think after next week, and all pending, you know, Aidan having a good race, I think I'd be very keen to look at those championship scores again, because I'll be taking a drop round next week.
All right, but I guess you're in a rather lucky position, mate, in the sense that you have the ability to fall back on a drop round at this point. Some drivers aren't that lucky. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the worst I've done this season is 7th so far. So, you know, if we add another drop round, yeah, before, I think my worst result after that will be a 2nd. So just been first and seconds this season with the drop round implemented. So yeah, it's good. Just shows that consistency is what wins these things, and yeah, very, very, very happy to be in that position, of course.
Quickly around the grounds, Richmond wrapping up their success at the Adelaide Oval over the Crows, 12-7-79 to 10-11-71. 10-11 was the score in State of Origin. New South Wales going down to Queensland. The field goal, the difference there in the 69th minute. And at the moment, the Socceroos. There's a lot of ones and zeros tonight. The Socceroos are leading Bangladesh in the 62nd minute of their World Cup qualifier 1-0. A lot of sport unfolding on a Thursday night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And of course, earlier today, the Aussies getting the better of Oman, and rightly so, in the T20 World Cup opener for the 2021 champions in Barbados. So they've got England on Sunday morning at 3 a.m. Perfect excuse to do an all-nighter, ladies and gentlemen. The cricket into Formula One qualifying, IndyCar qualifying in their summer as well. So it is a great weekend coming up. If you've got nothing better on, with it being a long weekend and all, you've got the capacity to sit on the lounge and just absorb all the sport that's on. good luck to you if you're in the position to do that. Hey, before I let you go, Mr. Rejano, your thoughts on what's to come, mate? I mean, Ride America is next, and you'll miss that one, and that is no doubt disappointing. And so the next time we see you is at a circuit that I know you're a big fan of, the streets of Detroit, Belle Isle, Grand Prix Circuit, Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, same goals tonight. Love the street circuits. Thankfully, Detroit's just the one, you know, sort of medium-sized race. So, I guess more or less just going to be about, you know, track position, starting in a good position, and just getting into a rhythm. Very easy to knock yourself out of a rhythm at that place, and you know, just one mistake is bad news because you end up with a ding car. So, yeah, you know, it's going to be a bit more or a bit less, you know, heart attack than it is tonight. Just I guess just hit your marks and over the 40 minutes, just yeah, stay consistent, and hopefully we can round the championship out with a win.
I love the fact that Kurt Novanson's sticking around here in the booth as well. I might just bring him back in very quickly. Kurt, if you can unmute yourself, there you are. Hey, who's the leader of your fan club at the moment, please? Because every time we see you on the racetrack, there's someone there commenting away, noting us, or letting us know, informing us, making sure we're aware of your progress, how far up the chain you are, or whether you've had good or bad luck. You've got someone in your corner that's tuning in and is in no way, no small part responsible for the fact that we had over 100 comments on the stream tonight.
Yeah, that'd be Liam. He's one of the guys. We actually have another team that me and him started with Eternity. It's just me, him, and two other guys that we did the Nerb 24 with. Basically a sister team and Lame Sheep at this point. But yeah, he's a big supporter. And always getting a message before my races to wish me luck with all my races in GSRC, and he watches as much as he can. He's from New Zealand, so he goes to bed just before the start of
very nice
Super Formula and GT3 every night.
Very nicely done, eh? It's good that we've got people tuning in right around the world. We've got people in America, we've got people in New Zealand, Singapore. No, it's great. It's magnificent that this little club of ours is reaching far-flung corners of the continent and the globe. Thank you, Kurt. Hey, Jackson, any Le Mans 24 plans for you this weekend or not?
Unfortunately, mate, I would have loved to have done it this year, but unfortunately not. But we are looking very heavily at doing Spa. I think Spa 24 is next month, so we'll be unwrapping probably the Mustang. Well, it'll depend on what car I think is favoured. But I know John Simpson from Flash Graphics has painted us up a very nice Mustang that's it's very, very keen to be unveiled from the covers and put on track.
All right, very nicely done. And what about the new content, mate? Have you sunk your teeth into any of that just yet?
None of it yet. I've just bought the Mustang, but I haven't had a drive of it yet. It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out next season in the GT3s and see where I guess the BOP lines up. I know with the new cars, it's always the new cars that are favoured, so could be seeing a lot of Mustang and Corvette next season, I think, but we'll see how it goes. I've been wrong before, and the Lamborghini Huracan, when that was released, wasn't the best car. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Just on that BOP, at the moment, I think from what I've seen on lap times is the Mustang and the Corvette are about middle of the pack. They're down a little bit on top speed and stuff, but they're still competitive. Just you got to drive them a little bit differently to the other GT3 cars that we've got at the moment.
Yeah, cool. At least it's not a Mercedes-Benz at the moment. They are from by all accounts. I think I commented earlier in the season on one of the streams. There's not much love for those things at the moment because, by all accounts, or most accounts, they are awful. But either way, it is an older car, so it's due for an upgrade soon. But yeah, either way, can't wait to sink my teeth in at least the Mustang and the Vet. I think it'll be good fun.
All right, looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see what next season's calendar looks like and exactly how the presence of Ford with the Mustang and a new manufacturer let's not forget, with the Corvette, we'll reinvent the wheel of what we do on a Monday night with GT3. We might have just actually secured Denchi for another couple of seasons yet, because he's been waiting for the Mustang before he even gives the Fords some love as far as running it full-time in the GT3 Championship is concerned. And then he's got to come out and try and win a championship in the Corvette, so that way he can go into GSRC retirement knowing full well that he ticked all the boxes with all of the different manufacturers. I don't think he's got into the BMW for a season yet either. So there's 3 manufacturers that we know of that Denchi's got to come and have a play with, and try and continue his unbeatable, phenomenal, uncharted sort of success. And winning streak that he's got going in Waste Options GT3 at the moment. Hey, boys, thank you for that. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Yeah, have a good weekend, Jackson. Well done again, mate. Double up here in Canada. The final regular sprint round for Super Formula 1. Of course, remembering full well that the season finale is a 3-race format, and we're very excited about that already. We couldn't do what we do here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club without the great support of the following. Scrolling across the bottom of your screen, of course, Waste Options, Orbit Australia, Loadsy Racing, Spreyton Cider, the great people that support not just the club full-time, but also specifically Thursday Night Motorsport as well, Loadsy Racing, Villeneuve Australia, and Flash Graphics. Magnificent. All right, let's have a look at what's coming your way for the rest of Week 8 and most of Week 9 on the platforms of the GSRC across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Excuse me. Tomorrow night, off to the Eldora Speedway. Yes, onto the Oval tomorrow night for 3 races for our boys that are competing in the SRX Superstar Racing Experience for the Stock Car Series.
No, I think it's Silverstone. It's Silverstone.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, actually. No, I think you're right. I think that's a typo from
It might be 1
Daniel,
week ahead
because I think you're a week
that's the week after we go to Eldora.
I was going to say, it didn't look right when I read it, because I could have sworn as soon as you said Silverstone, I was like, yep, that's right. That's what I said on Monday night. So, yes, disregard that. Eldora next week onto the Dirt Oval. It's Silverstone National tomorrow night, so 2 completely different setups there in terms of one being a bitumen circuit and the other being a dirt oval tomorrow night and tomorrow week. So that's week 9. Week 8 will, of course, be Silverstone tomorrow night. Same race format as what you're seeing there, same start time, just to change the venue. And it'll be for the SRX Superstar Racing Experiences GSRC Stock Car Series with Joe Baldwin and Nick Fodiatis leading the way with the broadcast there. Another driver change done and dusted. Saturday night.
So that'll also be a week ahead. I think it's street stock.
Yes,
Yeah, it's street stock.
right. Street stock Mount Panorama. 32 laps. Daniel, it's all right. I mean, you being a week ahead, that's okay, because you live in progressive civilization. If you were living in Queensland, it'd be a rare occurrence to be ahead in anything, except for State of Origin. They seem to be doing a beautiful job there. So, yes, it'll be street stocks this week at Radical SR10s next week, Mount Panorama. Again, at same time, same place, same channel, 32 laps. Mountain then continuing on the platforms of the GSRC. Monday. Yes, this is right. This is correct. Round 9 of the Super 2 and Super 3 series from Motegi. Now, that's the full circuit. It was originally meant to be the West Circuit, but such are the numbers at the moment in Super 2 and Super 3 that they are going to run the full circuit. The one split full circuit, 7:35 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be with you straight after home and away. Make a note of that. GT3 follows. We're bringing you the AM split from Portimao next Monday night for 60 minutes from 8:30 Eastern Standard Time in order to bring you the GT3 Pro finale the week after from Road America. Tuesday night, the Van Ryn Cup, the up-and-comers. Now, we should make a note here. That because of a patch update at iRacing's end, the GT1 Civil War, they've got 2 rounds coming up post-season, essentially. The Van Ryn Cup continues on Tuesday night with the Mazda MX-5s from Sandown. Race 1 over 10 minutes, race 2 15, race 3 25, a full reverse grid for race 2, progressive grid for race 3, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Make a note of that. Mazda MX-5s are a great little car, especially on this platform and this server, in these club platforms at least. So Daytona for the Orbit GT1 Civil War. 40 minutes to journey there, 10 past 9 Eastern Standard Time. Make a note of this as well. as has been the case for the last couple of terms, the Week 10 finale, the grand finale for the Van Ryn Cup up-and-comers, will be live on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club with myself and Adam Lavis doubling up Monday and Tuesday of Week 10, so make a note of that. Wednesday night, now, you blokes took last night off. Coincidentally, State of Origin was on as well, but you're back next week, so that's good. Daniel Correa-Sar, Liam Banks with you. Mazda MX-5s. Oh, you beauty. From Willow Springs. Have a look at that. 15 minutes for race 1, 25 for race 2, top 10 reverse grid invert. And that'll be 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Orbic Australia, sorry, the GSRC GT4 Challenge, Force of Habit Orbic Australia used to sponsor the series. GT4, that challenge continues from Circuit Park Zandvoort, if you don't mind. Over 10 laps for race 1, 15 for race 2 with a top 10 invert. Next Wednesday night from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. And then we're back with you on the Thursday night for the penultimate outing of Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport for this season. Wings and Slicks from Road America for Super Formula Light. That will be the dessert for you, ladies and gentlemen, over 60 minutes from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So a slightly later finish than usual in store for us next week and the week after on a Thursday night with the extended race formats there. But of course, dessert only follows the main course, which is taking us to the club circuit configuration of the Sebring International Raceway in Florida. Race 1 over 10 minutes, race 2 over 15, race 3 over 15 minutes as well. And that'll be a top 10 invert for race 3, a full invert for race 2. Race 1 will be as the qualifying order dictates. Qualifying sets that grid, so that's all good and well. Progressive grids are a thing of the past as far as Formula V is concerned because of the invert format. That's all from 7:30 Eastern Standard Time next week. I've got a couple of things that I want to get off my chest in a moment, but before that, race.tgsrci.com if you want to join in the fun and find out what we're all about and how to join in. Make sure you get on board with that. All the information relevant to the club is there. GSRCmerch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com, whichever comes first. In your mind, whichever you type in first, ladies and gentlemen, that's where you go. It'll take you to the same page. Get your hands on some of that treasured and rare paraphernalia and merchandise that's associated with this club and has our branding embroidered all over it. Subby coolers, bottle openers, t-shirts, hoodies. I'm all for hoodies. I'm all for hoodies at the moment. We need to expand the range. I've got my hoodie sitting here behind me. It's about to go on because it's just got to that level of crisp up here in Ipswich on a Thursday night. And make sure you join in the fun of the fair there. Maybe get a sibling gift, a birthday present or a Mother's Day or a Father's Day or a Christmas or whatever. Do that. My mother actually at the moment, if she keeps up with this rubbish about being born in New South Wales and supporting Queensland, she's going to get a Kylie Minogue CD for Christmas, not a GSRC shirt. But that's another story for another day. Hey, couple of things that I want to get off my chest before we rock and roll out of here on a Thursday night. Firstly, reminding you that New South Wales have gone down to Queensland in Women's State of Origin Game 2. It's now 1-1 decider coming up Townsville 3 weeks tonight. And that will be an absolute ball terror, no doubt about that. Obviously, the men's game going in favour of Queensland last night, 38-10. But yes, it was 11-10 tonight in favour of Queensland at a wet McDonald Jones Stadium. Full-time in the AFL. Richmond 12-7-79 defeated Adelaide 10-11-71. The Socceroos at the moment lead Bangladesh, and they lead them by 2-0 in the World Cup qualifier. They'll play Palestine on Tuesday night in Perth. So it's a quick turnaround between games and also a flight included in that as well. Been a mongrel of a day for Australian motorsport, really. You would have seen the news this morning that the Shannon Speed Series, Bathurst International will be no more after this season. The TCR flagship event, if you like, it was meant to be an international draw card. It was last year. It's not going to be this year, and they've decided to pull up stumps on the Shannon Speed Series. Bathurst Regional Council reporting that it looks as though they'll go back to just running 4 events next year. They still have that licence, that ability, and to run a 5th one, but obviously that'll have to go through a tender process and a few other things when the time is right. But Bathurst Regional Council seem content with sticking with 4 events for next year, which will be, of course, the 12-hour, the 6-hour, the 1,000, and the Challenge Bathurst, which is not a racing event, it's just a glorified practice session, really. So that will be the lay of the land for the next short while at Mount Panorama. What happens to the Shannon Speed Series? What happens to TCR going forward? What venue replaces it on the calendar? We know that there are costs involved and other things, ladies and gentlemen. What the ramifications of that are not yet fully known, but that'll play out in due course. And the other thing as well is obviously the news this afternoon that the two Shannon Speed Series events that were scheduled to be taking place up here, remember last year that the one was labelled as the Shannon's Trophy Series and led straight into the Shannon Speed Series back-to-back weekends. They've now been amalgamated. They've been merged into one event. It was meant to be two. It's now one. It's had implications on both the Australian Production Car Championship and also the Circuit XL Dunlop Destiny Series. It's really unfortunate. TCR and Trans Am bumped back 3 weeks going into the later event, not the former event. So July 12 to 14, grab that out of your diary. It's just another cruel blow to ARG and all associated with it. I mean, category spectators, supporters, competitors. I feel for everybody involved there at the moment because it's just not a great look, and it compromises their calendar further. It shrinks it from originally they were planning 10 events this year. It's now 7. Without the second round in Sydney, the second round in Queensland, and there was also a TBA which has now been taken by SRO down to Phillip Island on the Father's Day weekend, September 1. So, yeah, bad day for Australian Motorsport with those two announcements, and, well, let's hope things improve going forward on the whole referendum. That's just yet. Let's see how the couple of years play out. Yeah, for anyone that had plans for that July 12 to 14 weekend to come up to Queensland Raceway, cancel them, book it in for August 2 to 4 instead, and obviously the coverage will be on the 7 network as per usual. It's never good when we lose motorsport events for whatever reason, and obviously the ramifications of it aren't yet fully known, but they will be. They'll come to light in due course. I was going to say something else with regards to that, and it's just escaped me for the moment. That's what it was. ARG, they had such great positive vibes, momentum, and energy behind them. You know, it was all looking very, very good for them and promising just before COVID. And COVID derailed it all in a destructible manner that hasn't fully been, repairable really, and probably never will be. So that was disappointing for Australian Motorsport because competition is healthy, and unfortunately with that competition now starting to, fall by the wayside, it just means that Supercars reasserts its place at the top of the pyramid and has a stranglehold on the industry once more. Monopoly's not good, ladies and gentlemen. We've told you that before. As for what we're doing here, yeah, very excited about next week. Very excited about the week after when we'll bring you 5 nights of entertainment on the platforms of the GSRC. In the meantime, good luck to all of our members competing in the Majors 24 over the weekend from the Circuit de la Sarthe, GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship, and of course the Le Mans Prototype cars in action next Sunday from the same venue for a much shorter distance, of course. I can't remember whether it's 6 or 8 hours, but there is a GSRC Le Mans Enduro running concurrently with the real world thing next Sunday. Finally, the GSRC GT3 and GTP Endurance Championship back up and running, which is good to see. Their season hasn't been straightforward either this year, but hopefully they'll have no more interruptions to that going forward to the conclusion of the season in early December. Plenty on this weekend as far as sport's concerned, ladies and gentlemen. French Open finals, the World Cup qualifiers I've just detailed. You've got AFL, NRL continuing big freeze at the G on Monday, of course, for the King's birthday holiday Monday now. Still falling into that trap, force a habit. And of course, there's Formula One. There's IndyCar. There's NASCAR. Obviously, a lot of eyes on that from Sonoma on Monday morning. It runs concurrent with IndyCar as well, so you're going to have Formula One on one screen, NASCAR on the other, and IndyCar on a third if you can do it Monday morning in the early hours. If not, watch a couple on catch-up. And, of course, the cricket underway with the ICC World T20. So no excuse not to be, immersing yourself in some local sport or some national and international sport of the finest quality throughout the course of the next 96 hours. USB goes AWOL there at the end. Apologies for that. So yes, go out and support your sport this weekend, or curl up on the couch and enjoy it as well for the second weekend of winter and a long weekend in many parts. Stay safe on the roads and with all your travel and holiday arrangements over the long weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed Spreyton Side of Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks for hanging in there with us right through to the end on what's been a very big and busy Thursday night. On behalf of Daniel Correa-Sarr, the entire team here, where we had 3 different winners in a very championship-defining round of Spreyton Side of Formula V and another Rayhana sweep in Super Formula Light. On behalf of Daniel Correa-Sarr and all the crew here, I'm Zach Caven bidding you a very good evening. Have a great long weekend. I look forward to your company on Monday while Joe and Nick pick it up tomorrow night for the NASCAR. Bye for now.